opinion and carry in.
Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's your boy Chris Avalon. Excuse me, I was just eating some chocolate before we went live. But anyway, welcome to the Chris Avalon Unfiltered Show. A show where we basically talk about all the things going on in entertainment, celebrity news, gossip, whatever is going on in the world of entertainment. You know, we talk about it unfiltered, like on this here show. And also, it's an interactive live show where you can also jump in the comments and leave your comments about any of the topics that we're going to be talking about on today's show. So, before we get to said topics, or the topics I'm about to tell y'all what we're going to talk about, can you believe, just do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I also want to say thank you to a lot of the people before we get started the new subscribers, because a lot of the clips that I've been posting online, I'm glad I listened. Bro, you was right. Even though I will say this, I wasn't doing the cutting up the topics and stuff and making like individual little shorter things so that way people could watch it, because I wanted to bring up a lot of my, subscribers, followers, that sort of thing. What happened was I was like, you know what, let me just start cutting up the episodes and stuff, and like all the interesting stuff that'll bring people in, they'll comment on it. So the drag race episode that I did last time, the clip about when we're gonna find out the list of new queens, the alleged queens, the ones that's been out that we knew about for the past year, pretty much, because that was spoiled. When that's going to be leaked, it's going to be or debut. It's going to be on the Sherry Shepherd show next month. That one went over over in the thousands. So thank you for all of you who commented, who liked, who did all that stuff. And the Gen Z one about Sex in the City, that one blew up too. I was like, I wasn't expecting that to happen, but apparently a lot of people like Sex in the City. A lot of people like that type of stuff. So we're gonna do more of that on the show. But anyway, um. To answer your question, Robert, you said, did my internet go down? No, I was just running late. I was putting the show together. I literally just pulled this Chris Brown story at the last second because I was trying to gather enough information and stuff on it. So I was busy doing that, and then I was eating some candy. I should have been before we got the show started. So I was running behind. But I'm here. I was on Color People Time today. So yeah. So the topics we're gonna talk about the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. It's not gonna be a whole lot I'm gonna talk about. I'm just giving my overall thoughts. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We finally got our official list of celebrities who's going to be inducted. Plus, Chris Brown and this whole thing with him and Takeoff, and Quavo, that whole diss track, child. No shade, but I think Takeoff just need to go. I mean, not Takeoff. Quavo just need to go hide somewhere because Breezy came out and he obliterated his ass. But we're gonna talk about that. Plus, Jill Scott is getting backlash for defending Chris Brown because people still mad at her. Mad at her for coming to his defense. Plus, speaking of no good ass men, we're gonna talk about Brian McKnight and this whole situation that's coming out with him. Plus, Wendy Williams' ex-husband Kevin Hunter is threatening to air out Blac Chyna after appearing on with the Wendy Williams docuseries. I don't know why all of a sudden he's picking on Blac Chyna, but we're gonna talk about it. Plus, David Beckham has filed a lawsuit against Mark Wahlberg over a $10 million fitness company investment. Chad, I don't know why you even got involved with that old crazy Christian, when in fact, he talked shit about him back in 2009, and I got the receipts, so we're gonna talk about that. Plus, Taylor Swift apparently is coming for Madonna's record with her new album, The Tortured Poets Department. We're gonna talk about that because that album has been pretty much divisive. I understand she made a whole lot of money, which that was gonna be, that's a given because it's Taylor Swift, but child, the people's mad at her because, first of all, she out here trying to scam her damn fans. She pulled the same mess with another one of her albums when she went and released the Standard, and then hours later she gonna give y'all a whole bunch of more music. So everybody went and pre-bought the album, and then she goes and scams her fans into buying more shit like she ain't got enough money. But we're going to talk about that. Plus, Doctor Who star Ncuti Gatwa says that white mediocrity is celebrated while black people struggle to get half of the same mediocrity. Speaking of white mediocrity, because we just talked about Taylor Swift. I just funny how that transitioned into that. And then old hit 90s drag queen classic is getting a sequel. Guess which one it is? You got maybe two choices. Is it Tu Wong Fu? Is it Priscilla, Queen of the Desert? Is it any one of the other drag queen things that came out back in the day? We're going to talk about it. Plus, speaking of drag queens, we're going to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race season 16. We're going to talk about that finale. What I thought. What did y'all think? You could jump down in the comments and all that other stuff. But yes, before we get to said topics, please do yourselves a favor and hit that like button, subscribe, and notification button. And let me hit my banner. So that way, when we go live with a brand new episode of this here show. Now, without further ado, let's get into these topics. I want to talk a little bit about the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. It came out today. I've been liking a lot of the posters that I've been seeing. One of my friends even asked me, he was like, "Is this real?" I'm looking at him like, "Are you dumb? Like, are you literally asking me um if any of the stuff that's coming out, like any of the posters been coming out, especially with him and Wolverine and a couple of other ones. There was a couple in there that I actually liked. I was like, okay, this is cute or whatever. I'm gonna try to let me see if I can pull up one of the actual posters or whatever for y'all to check, because this is the one he actually asked me. He's like, "Is this real?" I'm like, why would somebody AI that? Why would somebody make that up? Like, literally, there is a Deadpool and Wolverine movie coming out. We had a teaser, sort of, back in during the Super Bowl. Now we got the official trailer. I guess they're gonna release another one closer to when the movie comes out in July. At this point, I don't really feel like they need to. Just like, let's get the tickets. The movie's gonna make a shit ton of money. I'm excited for this film. I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie. They gave us a little bit of stuff. We got to see Cassandra Nova, which I'm excited about. Who is Professor X's crazy ass twin sister. And she tried to kill his ass in the womb. I don't think they're going to bring that in this one. The funny thing is, I wonder if they're actually going to put Professor X in the movie, because I already heard there's going to be so many cameos that's going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine. But I do wonder if they're going to bring Professor X in here. And if they do, is it going to be a new one? Because I know they're rebooting X-Men. Or are you going to bring in James McAvoy, who's been hitting the gym like crazy? I don't know if y'all seen that recent trailer with him for what was it, Speak No Evil? Man, sir, his body is on point. But I will also say this: I don't understand why they're making why they're remaking a movie that's predominantly in English, even though it's a foreign film and it's on Shudder. If you want to see the original version, majority of the movies are English. So I'm like, why are y'all even remaking this? But anyway, this is not about that movie. It's about James McAvoy, who's in it. So I wonder if they're gonna bring him back, because there would be no way or no reason to have. Okay, you got Cassandra Nova, who looks pretty much, well, from the base of the glimpse we saw of her, she looks really young. But you can't have Patrick Stewart old ass being her twin, because they'd be like, first of all, you need to pick an older woman to play her. So I do wonder where they're gonna go with that, or if we're not even gonna get Professor X at all. But I did hear of like all the alleged cameos that's gonna be in Deadpool and Wolverine. Like Halle Berry is supposed to be reprising her role as Storm. They were supposed to get James Marsden as Cyclops. Like, we weren't already hearing all the other things. But I guess we're gonna get in that backstory of like, okay, so when the whole world was destroyed, and of course, being that Wolverine is indestructible, although he did die in Logan. Spoil Well, that can't be a damn spoiler. The movie's older than dirt. So if y'all ain't seen this by now, I don't know what to tell you. But and then I also heard that what the hell's the character that Daphne King played, I don't know if she's gonna be in it, but the character that she was supposed to be, as the kid of Wolverine, like when she was that experiment and everything, she's supposed to be making a cameo, or her character's supposed to be making a cameo. So I've been hearing so many things. I don't know what to necessarily believe. I've been trying to avoid all the spoilers. So I'm actually excited for this film. I like the posters and stuff that's coming out. They gave us, typical. Like, we got a little bit of what the movie's about, that they're trying to save their worlds or whatever. He's trying to save his world. He's trying to help Wolverine save his world. I'm guessing it's gonna be some type of multiverse type of situation. I love the part when him and Wolverine, where Deadpool and Wolverine jumps into one of those portals, those Doctor Strange portals. Kind of makes me wonder, is Benedict Cumberbatch about to make an appearance in this, a cameo or something or another? Because how else do you get those portals unless him or Wong or somebody, creates it? So I'm actually excited to see this film. Like, all the little Easter eggs, I wasn't able to catch every last one because I watched the trailer twice. I probably had to watch it 20 more times to catch everything, because I was just so excited, all the little eye candy and everything that was in there, and the funny one-liners. So yeah, I'm excited to see this film. I'm looking forward to when it comes out. I need to get my damn tickets. But So yeah, I guess that's all I got to say on that. It's not really a whole much. I mean, a whole lot I wanted to say on the whole Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. I'm just glad that we're getting another one. I'm glad that Disney is not asserting themselves. It was like, you know what, we're gonna let this film be what it is. It's gonna be a hard R, a lot of crazy violence, a lot of blood. We saw the blood in there was blood splatter in the trailer, a lot of F bombs. I liked a lot of the whiskey dick joke. There was a couple of funny one-liners, like I said, and Ryan Reynolds delivering what he always does. The action sequences look pretty badass, and Hugh Jackman, sir, I don't know what your regimen is, but he looks good. I mean, I would climb that man in a minute. But and I told you I met Hugh Jackman, so he is very much as good looking in person as he is on camera. So, and this was back when he was promoting Logan. Speaking of that movie, so yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below about this whole Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. Are you guys excited? Are you hyped? This also I feel like opens a door for like, you know what? I would like a little division of Disney, being that y'all wanted to buy up Fox, that you can do like those edgy R-rated type of superhero films, TV shows, whatever. Everything shouldn't have it because that's what worried me. Like I always thought like, oh, they'd be beholden to. Oh, because it's Disney and Disney is family friendly entertainment and you can't curse and you can't show nudity and you can't kill people and you can't do all those things. I mean, you could stab somebody, but there can't be blood. You know that the whole thing about the FCC and all that. I mean, the rating system and certain things that they get all, oh, this is inappropriate. We can't put this in here. But so that's kind of what my worry was with Disney coming along and buying up Fox's shares, that some of the stuff would be tainted. But so far, it look like they're like, no, they be letting them do what they want, and I think that's what's getting a lot of people excited, especially me, because I'd have been mad if they would have Disney fired this damn Deadpool movie. It's like, oh wait, he can't say fuck, he got to say gosh darn it. He can't say god damn it. He got to say gosh darn it or something, or you can't say fuck. You got to go kind of like how they used to do with Battlestar Galactica. They would say frack, which I thought was clever, that you can come up with a word that we know what it means, but you can't say this because it's TV, so you find ways around it. Or like my goddaughter likes to say, she says fudge a lot. So, which I think is cute, but also it's like, you know what? I know what you're trying to say, but because it's fudge, I do like when people can find creative ways to say things without actually cursing. So anyway, let me look at the comments. Oh yeah, there was that too. And it was like they use Madonna's like I forgot to mention that. I love the clever way of how they use like a prayer in the trailer too. And Madonna giving them permission to use like a prayer and stuff. But shout out to the icons. Now speaking of icons, let's get into this topic, which is the 2024 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees were announced on American Idol by Ryan Seacrest and 2022 inductee Lionel Richie. So the incoming 2024 class includes superstar acts such as Cher, Ozzy Osbourne, Mary J. Blige, A Tribe Called Quest, Dave Matthews Band, Foreigner, Peter Frampton, and Kool and the Gang. The icons will officially be anointed as rock and roll royalty on October 19th, when the 39th annual induction ceremony takes place at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland. It will stream live on Disney Plus. Well, damn, Disney Plus is just getting their hands in every damn thing, aren't they? But I have to say, like, I like this idea that we have people like Cher, Ozzy Osbourne, Mary J, A Tribe Called Quest, Dave Matthews being Foreigner, Peter Frampton, Kool and the Gang being inducted. I was expecting Sade to get inducted. She's been around just as long, but why they just kind of like didn't put her in. But but there's always next year. We barely see Sade out anywhere anymore anyway. Um, But Cher, I know it's like when I first posted about this, a lot of people were in the comments talking about, well, I wonder if she's gonna show up because she's always had some nice, not so nice things to say about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, especially since there's been so many times she's been, up for nomination and they kind of just I guess ignored her and just didn't give her the credit and the respect that she deserves. And it's funny how people will be quick to change their damn tune once they're finally acknowledged and given, the opportunity. I have a feeling Cher is going to show up. Like she said, what she said back then, probably because I'm sure she was feeling hurt and bitter. as most people would, because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's so nice to be nominated," and I've been looking at that. Yeah, it is nice to be nominated in a perfect world, but the reality is, people want that nomination, they want that win, and they want that acknowledgement. Because it goes to show that you are being that you all this hard work you've done, you are respected by your fellow musical peers. And they also said that the event will honor Jimmy Buffett, Dionne Warwick, Norman Whitfield, and MC5 with the Musical Excellence Award. Big Mama Thornton, Alexis Corner, and John Mayall will receive the Musical Influence Award, and Suzanne DePass will earn the Ahmet Erdogan Award. Suzanne DePass been around for a long time. She was back with Motown and them. So they said last year the rock and roll included Kate Bush, Missy Elliott, Willie Nelson, George Michael, Sheryl Crow, Rage Against the Machine, and the Spinners in its 2023 class. 15 acts were nominated for this year's Rock Hall, and those who didn't make the cut include Mariah Carey, Eric B. and Rakim, Sade, who I mentioned, Jane's Addiction, Lenny Kravitz, Oasis, and Sinead O'Connor, who passed away last year. So they also said the 2024 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony will air as a special on ABC at a later date and will be available on Hulu the day after the live ceremony. So they want y'all to really subscribe to Disney Plus, because Disney Plus is getting the live feed. Hulu will get it the day after, and ABC is going to get it at a later date. So for those of y'all who don't have streaming, y'all really for those who care that don't have streaming, y'all really got to go and figure out how y'all gonna have to wait to watch. But they really trying to they really doing what they can to get people to subscribe over to Disney Plus. Like I told y'all the other day, they're trying to come up with to add channels to the streaming service, similar to what Shudder has. Shudder used to do 3, but I've noticed now they only have 1 channel, or is it just me? But I was just looking at the other day. I'm like, they had 3 channels before. Now they only have the 1 channel on there, which is whatever they got on there, they got on there. Because I remember they would just keep the same shows on a loop for weeks. And I'm just like, okay, who's working in the studio? Do y'all have any people up in here? Like, y'all need to change these movies up, because it'd be the same ones. But Disney Plus is trying to come out with this thing where they're trying to get people to come over and subscribe by adding like little channels and stuff, similar to, I guess, like maybe what they do over on Pluto. And like I said, with Shudder, which is like they have a couple of channels and they'll just probably run like Star Wars marathons, or any of the X-Men movies or whatever the case is. And I actually think that's a cool idea, because a lot of times, like with me, when I'm working, I love to, especially if I'm working on my website and stuff, I love to have stuff on in the background, just background noise while I'm working. So I'm usually either watching a lot of YouTube videos. So I always have a lot of YouTube stuff on in the background. I'll be watching or listening to a lot of podcasts while I'm working. And that's the same thing when I do with TV stuff. It's like, if I'm watching something that I'm familiar with, that give, that comfort food program, be it a show, movie, whatever, you have that on in the background and you just glance up every now and again. So that's what I do. Now, speaking of things that I glanced up at and just had on as background noise, did any of y'all see that second part of Rebel Moon, the Scar Giver? That shit was god awful. I don't know what the hell Zack Snyder was thinking when he put that together. It was like the Seven Samurai. It was like Star Wars. I had all these things in here, but I didn't care about any of the characters. The characters weren't entertaining. I love Jaimin Hun, so he was completely wasted in this damn movie. The action sequences got on my goddamn nerves with all the freaking slow-mo. It's slow-mo and everything. The choreography looks sloppy. I love Sophia Boutella, but this was just not the role for her to be a lead in. And I feel like maybe it was because Zack Snyder is someone who is a visual director. He's all visuals. He's like, I love, all spectacle, all that stuff. As far as like trying to be a writer and stuff, sir, you are not Quentin Tarantino. Shit, you're not even Uber Bowl. Like you're not any of those, people's like, you should not be writing your own shit. I think if you have an idea, you hire some writers to execute your idea. And I saw like on Netflix, they were trying to they put this whole behind the scenes 30-minute video together, which is like all the work they put into it. And I'm like, y'all put in all this work and this is what you delivered. Like, I understand it's not easy to make a movie. Like, I don't want to be overly critical, because I know like someone who went to film school and had, went through the ringer and all the other stuff. Like, it's not easy to make a movie. It's not easy to put a film together and really, get take an idea and really bring it to life and it be just like one of those brilliant films that's like, oh my God, this shit is so good. It's not easy to make a movie. I get that. But for someone who's been in the game for so long, it's like, you should know better. It's like, and I like some of his stuff. Like, I love what he did with Dawn of the Dead, the remake, but he didn't write that. James Gunn wrote the script. That's why the movie was good. All he had to do was direct from a script written by James Gunn. So that's what I like about that. And I love me some James Gunn. So that's why I'm like, anything that James Gunn puts out is like, to me, I'm that audience because I like his twisted sense of humor, how well he casts people in his films, and a lot of the sci-fi horror, like all the different things that he's done, like I'm a fan of. So that's why I'm not that upset or worried about what's going to happen with the DCU and all the decisions he's been making in regards of the new Superman movie and who he's been casting. Like, they talk about Paul Campbell's being played by Pruitt Taylor Vince, and I like him. He's a character actor, and I know some people be like, "Huh?" Look, if it serves the story, I say I'm here for whoever you cast. Now I wonder who they're gonna play. Who's gonna play Martha? We haven't heard about who's gonna play that yet, but we need to know. And I'm so far I'm liking the cast that's coming out of that. But for the most part, it was just like after watching Rebel Moon over the weekend, I kid you not. I think because it was Friday when I watched it. I watched that before I watched Drag Race because Drag Race I watch on Philo because I don't have cable like I told y'all. So I watch it on Philo, but I was like, I had to let the whole DVR capture the whole show so that way I can go back and watch it and fast forward through all the commercials and stuff. And so I had Rebel Moon on and I just had it on in the background. I'm glancing up and I'm like, this shit is stupid. This movie is bad. And then it was just like Ed Screen, I like him too, but it's just he's been in so many bad films. I don't think you slobbing the right Nas to be getting you them big roles. But yeah, you got to get up out of whatever, that other stuff. Like, so I get it. Like, Zack Snyder is like this visual risk taker and everything, and he's so loved in Hollywood on for a lot of decisions. But I feel like a lot of his films have really been divisive. I haven't seen a movie this bad since Sucker Punch. So it kind of makes me want. I was like, so what's better? Is Sucker Punch a better movie than Rebel Moon? I think if you turn the sound off and you watch Sucker Punch on mute, it's actually a good movie. Don't put the sound on. Watch it inside, like pretend it's a silent film, and then you can probably get through that because the visuals are excellent in that movie. But Realm was just terrible. It really was. But why am I not surprised? Netflix, doesn't put out a lot of good movies. But I did hear that they do have a new guy working over at Netflix for the cinema, like the film division. So who knows? Maybe he'll turn things around. But anyway, so let's move on. And let's read some of these comments. So I was saying last night that I didn't know if Cher was even interested in being inducted. Well, you know what? A lot of times they'll be like, well, fuck them damn award shows and stuff. They don't want to respect me. I don't want nothing from them. And then all of a sudden they nominate you and it's like, oh, change your heart. Sidebar. Have y'all seen that video that's floating online of Beyonce getting her hair done? Bitch, when I tell you I was living, and then I see some people in the comments saying, oh, I still don't think that's her hair. And I'm looking at you like, are you dumb? First of all, you can tell hair texture, real hair, from a weave or wig. And they were like, well, since when did her hair get that long? I'm like, I'm sure Beyonce's always had long hair. Beyonce does the same thing that Whitney Houston was always talking about. Whitney Houston was like, I will wear wigs because I'm not going to damage my hair. And that's a smart thing too, especially if you're a person of color. You don't want people going up in there doing all kinds of shit to your hair because your hair breaks or whatever the case is. But if you have the financial wherewithal that you can hire people of color that know how to do colored women's hair or black women's hair or coarse hair, whatever you want to call it, curly hair, you could be able to have the wherewithal to hire someone to do all of that. But yeah, I was living for that video. I was like sitting there watching them go. I was like fascinated just how they was washing it, and then it was like the combing through it, and Beyonce blowing out her own hair, and the hairstylist up in there doing this other stuff, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, but I think because Beyonce, I mean, what Whitney said, she said I would put my hair in a French braid, and they throw the wig on, and my hair be down to my butt. she was going to be out here wearing wigs. And I'm like, yeah, that's smart because you could change up your hair all the time. And then if you're on stage or whatever the case is and you're performing, it's like you're under all them lights, you're sweating, all this stuff. You don't want your natural hair to be out there like that. And first of all, you don't want to put heat on your real hair all the time because your hair can cause, you can get it's a lot of hair damage. So I was definitely fascinated. I think I saw that on the Neighborhood Talk YouTube. Not in YouTube. It was their Instagram. What am I talking about? Instagram. So I was looking at that and I was like, I was just fascinated by that whole video. So in case y'all didn't see it, that's what I was telling you about. So I think Netflix is cutting corners because of the strikes. They don't want to pay, got a writer's room, but don't mind charging $30. But child, first of all, I don't know. It's like I like a lot of their shows, and I feel like a lot of their probably because a lot of their shows are imports, like they're not American series. They pretty much just buy up shows from other countries and stuff, and then they put it on Netflix, which I actually don't mind. I actually like a lot of those shows, but then when it comes to their movies, it's like y'all paying these people all this damn money and you delivering shit. And I think they need to kind of get out of that, especially when y'all just you're putting these movies straight to Netflix when some of these movies should probably get a theatrical release because it's going to show that a movie that ends up in theaters first for maybe a week or two um, does better when it comes to streaming because people are like, oh, it was in the movies and now it's out and I can watch it. Like I just finally got around. I was telling people yesterday, I just finally watched Saw X. And it took me forever to get around to that movie, but Stars finally put it on their page. I mean, on their cable channel. And because I was doing the whole Stars thing for a cheap amount of, for a couple of months, um, before it goes up to $9.99, which I got to cancel because Stars don't really be having nothing on there. Um, I was like, oh, let me watch this. So I finally watched Saw X last night. I liked it. It was a good movie. I don't like all that torture horror stuff, but and I was squirming a lot watching it. Like I don't like those type of. I don't like watching fingers being snapped or people having to get their eyes sucked out of a thing, or me getting or one scene where there's a girl getting her skin burned off from radiation. I'm like a radiation machine. I'm like, child, what is going on up in here? I'm sitting there the whole time like, where do y'all come up with this shit? So, um, yeah, but I thought overall I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and I really feel like this franchise shot themselves in the foot by like killing off John Kramer's character. But so now they're trying to find a way to retcon all of that and bring him into like all these little side sequels that before it leads up to you know the other movie. I mean the ones that come in line with parts 2 on down. Because I always said that Lionsgate and them people over there, y'all shot yourselves in the foot by killing off John Kramer. I guess they probably thought he wasn't going to be this iconic character. But you never know what happens when it comes to stuff that's on the script and then the actor comes in and executes and brings that script to life. Sometimes you never know how that's going to turn out. But if that's what happened to like the first and the second one, then common sense would have been like, well, maybe we should go in a different direction with this. But they were just too stupid to like realize a good thing they had until some idiot decided, oh yeah, let's kill him off in the third one. Okay, so now the shade James Gunn did by posting his cast reading Superman, I died. The way he said we're doing proper research to understand the lore. Yeah, because a lot of people are still upset over the fact that Zack Snyder went and had Superman killed. You know, in what was it? Man of Steel, which I actually like. I love Henry Cavill in that role. However, I feel like Warner Brothers dropped the ball with that. Y'all just tried to rush real quick because y'all were trying to compete with Disney and the MCU but here's the thing, the MCU had a huge head start. They were given the opportunity to develop a lot of the characters. So it was like, Iron Man got his own movie, Thor got his own movie, Black Widow eventually got her own damn movie, but she was always a side character in other people's stuff. But let's focus on the ones that did get it. So it was like Captain America, you had so many of these other characters. You had Captain America, you had Thor, you had oh my god, like I'm sitting here forgetting names and but y'all know everybody who eventually and then we eventually got the Avengers. So we had all these different characters and stuff that at least they got their own solo films before they ended up getting the Avengers. Whereas DCEU, which I fucking hated when they called it that. I was always calling it DCU, but now they want to call it DCU because it's the new version. But the DCEU, when they were doing that, it's like, oh yeah, so let's give Batman a movie. Then we're gonna introduce Wonder Woman we're gonna give Superman his own movie. Then we're gonna bring Batman and Wonder Woman in a Batman versus Superman movie. When you didn't even give Superman multiple films, Batman didn't even get his own movie, Ben Affleck. Wonder Woman got one good movie and then one god awful movie, the one with Pedro Pascal. I hate that freaking 1984 is terrible. Um, and then all of a sudden we're getting Justice League. It's like, what? And then all of a sudden now, then it's like a 2-something hour movie. Zack Snyder was a part of it. He had to drop out because of family stuff. Then you bring a Joss Whedon problematic ass who put too many damn colors up in that damn movie. The movie was terrible. Then all of a sudden we had to get a 4-hour version, which in my opinion is way better because they had to go in and do reshoots, but it shouldn't have had to been at that point. You should have allowed your other characters to develop and have their own thing before, because it didn't feel like the role of it didn't Justice League didn't feel earned. It just felt like y'all just was trying to throw everybody in this thing and come up with something because, oh, we need to catch up with the MCU. And that's what it felt like to me. I felt cheated. So that's why a lot of people was upset. But then you got these hardcore, we went to Snyder Cut, Snyder, Zack Snyder. It's like, first of all, none of y'all was supporting these goddamn movies when Zack Snyder was a part of it. So I don't understand why y'all out here bitching about the fact that, new regime came in and changed shit up. I just don't understand it. So people are upset over James Gunn. I was like, well, first of all, those Guardians of the Galaxy movies are $1 billion grossing movies. So, but you still mad that James Gunn is coming up in here trying to make things interesting for the DCU? I just don't get people and the trolls who bitch and moan about stuff. You're never satisfied. One of my friends was talking about Baby Reindeer on Netflix. You know what? I've heard someone else say that also. And I told him, I was like, I was on the fence about watching Baby. First of all, I didn't know what the hell the thing was about. I just seen like because the one thing I hate about Netflix is that they'll post these pictures up or whatever, and I'm like, okay, but what's it about? Like, I need to see a trailer. I gotta go through this whole situation and look up a damn trailer to understand or know what y'all stuff is about. The way they have their setup, their lineup set up or whatever on Netflix is horrible. I hate the way they have their setup of shows and movies and things. So sometimes I'm not sure which of because I don't be trusting them. Well, the top 10 TV shows that they have. It's like sometimes Netflix, I be side-eyeing y'all. Like, I be thinking y'all just be making shit up to get people to watch it. And I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, this shit is stupid. This shit is boring. Why am I watching this? I feel like I've been duped. I hate being scammed about some stuff. That's why I'm always skeptical. It might be my Virgo be Virgoing, because, we always skeptical about some shit. We always looking at stuff like, should I get up in that? I don't know. But then I had someone who said the same thing to me, like you said. You was like, I was like a little skeptical about wanting to check out Baby Reindeer, but he was like, "Oh, it's actually pretty. It's like He said it's a weird series or whatever, but it's like once you're done watching, he said I was still thinking about it. So, and I like stuff like that. It's like, well, damn, I'm still sitting here thinking about this damn movie, like Civil War. I'm still thinking about that damn movie, and I just talked about that with y'all like on Friday. So, which by the way, Civil War kicked Abigail's ass at the box office. And I tell you, this word of mouth, I really feel like Civil War is going to be one of those movies that is going to be an Oscar contender. I really feel like Hollywood is definitely there's going to be a lot of Oscar nominations coming that way, specifically for the film. I have a feeling it's going to get a Best Picture nomination because that's some type of stuff. The themes in that film is definitely stuff that Hollywood likes. Alex Garland, I feel like is going to probably get a Best Director nomination. I do feel like Best Actress award is going to go, or nomination is going to go to Kirsten Dunst. It is a really good movie. And it's one of those films that is like, it's a lot to think about. So I definitely see that happening. But yeah, I don't think one of these days this week, I'm going to try to catch Baby Reindeer. But I have so many other shows that I've started and haven't finished, like Fallout. Even though that's got a season 2. I still have not finished Fallout. I think I'm like halfway through the season because I hop from different shows and stuff, and then maybe I have commitment issues. It's like I have a lot of shows that I watch, but I don't It takes a while for me to finish it. Look, I still haven't finished the last 2 episodes of The Last of Us, and that's because I just don't want that show to. Even though I know it's coming back for a season 2, I still don't want to. I just don't want the show to end. So I'm just kind of like procrastinating with that. And you said Sucker Punch has a good soundtrack. I haven't heard the soundtrack, or maybe I did hear the soundtrack for the movie. But anyway, okay, let's get into our next topic and talk about Chris Brown. Chill, this boy's a mess. I did hear the song. I cackled listening to it. I'm like, chill. First of all, who taught Chris Brown how to read? Because he read Quavo down to the floor. He read like a gay man, like a sassy gay man. See, now I don't want to see. No, why'd I go and say that? Because now, anytime men come out and they say all kinds of stuff, people like to throw around that sassy card. People like to throw around that gay card. But in the words of his Venus extravaganza, Quavo tried it years ago, I guess, with Chris Brown. And Chris Brown, years later decided, he was like, you want to talk about reading? Let's talk about reading. And read he did. Because the song, he dropped the song over the weekend called Weakest Link. And the singer seemingly claimed that he was throwing all kinds of stuff, all kinds of side swipes and daggers and things. And Saweetie, Miss Mama's, she got dragged into it because he went and said that he slept with her while she was in a relationship with the MC from Migos, whose real name is Quavius Marshall. And if y'all want to hear the song, you could definitely go to my website, chrisavalon.com. It's like the very first article that's up there. And I have the song there if y'all want to hear it. I'm not gonna play it on here because of copyright stuff, but he didn't say Sweetie's name, but we know, like, okay, so Quavo and her were dating at the time, and we can do math. And he did he used the word sweet before he rapped on the line, shouldn't go over your head. And now, speaking of Sweetie, she took to Twitter to share that she was going to rewrite the verse for her forthcoming song, Nani. So according to Page Six, they said they reached out to Sweetie's rep for comment, but she did not immediately hear back. Now, do I think that Chris Breezy hunched Sweetie? I do. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Look, say what you want about Chris Brown, but he lays that pipe down in the bedroom. Like, he definitely look like he gives it, like he really be getting them girls up in there just the moaning and the screaming, and he be really that, like, he remind me of them little skinny boys, the trade that be up in there just like drilling they be drilling them holes. Like, he looks like he drilled a pussy. That's what he be that's what Chris Brown gives me, and that's probably why he got so many women out here be defending him. Because as problematic as he is, he be laying that pipe down in the bedroom. Now, we're not going to excuse all the stuff that he did in the past, and we'll get into that in a second when we talk about Jill Scott, because that fits more in with that, where people are just like mad at Jill Scott over her coming and talk about Chris Brown's rapping skills. But Quavo did react to the diss track by sharing a meme of Young Thug looking straight into the camera during his ongoing YSL gang trial on his Instagram stories. The issues between Brown and the hotel lobby MC, because I was sitting there trying to remember, okay, so where did all this come from? Like, I was just minding my business. This wasn't even on my Bigo card, but here we are. I don't know how this whole situation started. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, I had to do research. And I'm like, okay, so why are they fighting? Like, I don't recall Quavo saying anything about Chris Brown for Chris Brown all of a sudden just to come out of nowhere. Maybe it was a delayed reaction because, all them years of all that, alleged substance abuse that Chris Brown was on. Because you can't tell me he wasn't on no stuff. He giving like that mouth be doing a little bit like that old Bobby Brown side speak, all the years of booger sugar abuse, among other things. So apparently they said that the beef goes all the way back to 2017 when they reportedly got into a physical altercation following a BET Awards after party, which happened to be a few months after Quavo was seen out with the singer's ex Carucci. They said this is the second time Brown has dissed Quavo in his music. In his song Freak, he referenced the stir-fry rapper's romance with the former Claus actress. So apparently, Chris Brown was mad that Quavo was out here hunching his ex. But let's not forget, Chris, that you was out here allegedly putting your hands not on just Rihanna, but Miss Mamas too, who now selling feet pics and shit on OnlyFans. That's what she doing. Not that I'm throwing shade at her profession, because a girl got to get her coin. We haven't heard Miss Carucci out here acting since Claus got canceled, and now Niecy Nash out of another job because they canceled that Rookie Fed show. Shout out to Niecy Nash Betts. Maybe she'll, start producing and some stuff because, just be relying on the career, people giving you a job and shit ain't enough in this business no more. But I just don't understand how you get mad over Quavo messing with your ex, but then you was putting hands on stuff on her, which resorted her getting a restraining order against you. And then he did it again. What I'm hoping was, because you know what, Chris Brown, you definitely A. I will give you this. You definitely A on that damn track. I'm not going to hold you on that. The one thing that I will say is that I really hope that y'all can keep it on wax, because remember back in the day, wasn't that long ago in hip hop where, beefs were left on wax and that's where it stayed until it got crazy. Remember Hot 97 and the big shooting? Diddy? And that whole drama. It's like, for the most part, a lot of people are smart enough to keep it on wax and not make a big deal out of it and take it to the streets, and y'all actually be out here fighting and shooting and shit. Sidebar, what is up with Chris Brown fighting people at parties? Because didn't he allegedly put his hands on Usher too? Chris Brown love putting paws on people at parties. This is probably why they won't invite his ass nowhere. But yeah, I don't know if I don't got anything else to add to this story. I just been hearing so much stuff and just listen to the song and stuff. I was like, I have to give him his props. Chris Brown, you definitely ate on that track. I don't know if Quavo's gonna come back and retaliate with a song of his own. We'll see if he does. If not, or he'll just resort to just social media memes and that'll be his I was gonna say, what's the word? That'll be his quote. That'll be his response. And he's like, you know what? I ain't got nothing to say on this. It just is what it is. So let me know down what you guys think of this story down below. Now, speaking of Chris Breezy and drama, Jill Scott, got dragged on social media for defending Chris Brown on social media. So Jill Scott found herself in a sticky situation on Sunday, April 21st. In a recent post on Twitter, she tried to commend Chris Brown for his talent. However, when a fan pointed out his past actions, including multiple allegations of abuse, the singer seemingly brushed the comments off. She said, "At Chris Brown is amazing. How does anybody sing like that? Dance, look, act, and rap like that? Beyond gifted. It appears exceptional people have to go through exceptional fire. There's nothing to debate." Well, I'm sure that, Chris Brown has his demons that he's still trying to exercise, work out, and all other stuff. And I have to say this, I'm not gonna, deny the fact that Chris Brown is exceptionally talented. He's someone who's I don't know if he's a good singer now, because all them times he just be up there lip syncing with all them crazy ass dances. There's no way he could do an excellent breath control and be dancing the way he dances. But anyway, he is a good looking guy who can dance, and he's a good rapper. I don't know if he wrote the lyrics for that diss track that he did, but if he did, he's a good writer. If he had some help, I don't mind people getting help with their rap lyrics. If somebody's a better reader, like if you had some friends and stuff, or people that that are good writers and can help you take your idea and execute it better, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you had a hand in coming up with some of the stuff and putting the things into words. If you have a co-writer, that's not an issue. I don't know why people get all mad over people who use, writers and stuff to help them out with things. I mean, we all need a little help sometimes. We get writer's block. But anyway, this is about this whole situation. So yeah, we're not going to take away the fact that Chris Brown is talented. He is someone who is immensely talented. But the Philly singing actress claimed that Brown's alleged victims aren't or shouldn't be at least concerned with his life at this present moment. She went further and even shared a personal anecdote about her family, revealing that her father, while very abusive, was a talented craftsman and her mother, and she eventually got away. Scott seems to embrace the idea of separating the artist from the art. That said, fans didn't seem to agree and quickly responded to Scott's post. For memes and think pieces, the singer set social media ablaze. Now, before we get to them comments, I'll say this. It has really been hard for me at times to separate the artist from the art. I get it. Nobody's perfect. We all have to answer to a higher power at the end. Yeah, we could say all that stuff till the cows come home. I, for one, am not perfect either. I have my faults. I have my flaws. I have all those things, and I'm working out as well. But I'm not going around putting my hands on people and beating them up every time they say some shit that I don't agree with. Does that mean also that, should we separate the art from the artist when it comes to someone like a R. Kelly? Like R. Kelly was out here abusing young girls to the point where they're probably still traumatized by whatever it was that he put them through. All kinds of, to get with his sexual kinks and sex trafficking stuff. So should we separate R. Kelly from what the things that he did where he put harm on people, black women to be exact, because he made good songs? Should we separate Diddy from the art, being the art from the artist because of the things that he did, especially to Cassie and so many other people that's been coming out of the woodwork with their own stories? And these freak offs and the things that he would do where he would use his money, his power, his influence to get whatever he wanted out of people who were just looking for an opportunity to be successful and to just not be in the ghetto, and they want to get out of their whatever circumstance, whatever dire circumstance they were in, and he's dangling this fucking carrot over their head being like, well, I'll give you whatever it is that you need to do, but you need to do a couple of things for me. I need you to run these drugs, allegedly. I need you to bend over and touch your toes while I slide my dick up in your ass, allegedly, and all these other things. So it's like, should we separate that too? And I'm not sitting there trying to say that Chris Brown is out here doing the things that Diddy and all of them is doing. But when you have been known to be problematic a lot in your personal life, they kind of all interlink together. Especially when we're talking about, see, and another thing I did notice in some of the comments on some of them other pages, like the Shade Room and stuff, when they were talking about it, why is it that everybody continues to only bring up his incident with Rihanna? Like that's the only girl that he's been accused of having physical altercations with. In the prior story, we talked about Karuchi and the alleged that stuff that was going on with her to a point that she had to file a restraining order. And so many other women will come out and said that Chris Brown put hands on them, or there's been fights in clubs, or all these other things that was coming out, all these accusations that's come out with him over the years. So I don't understand people who sit up in here and make it seem like Rihanna's the only victim that he's had an issue with. Or they'll excuse the baby and say, well, y'all be trying to act like Rihanna didn't start with him from whatever the case was. It don't matter what it was. I don't know. I wasn't in the car with them when she had them bruises on her face and they was fighting. I wasn't there. None of us were. The only people that know what happened is Rihanna. There's Rihanna, there's Chris, and in between in the middle is the truth. All we know is we saw her face, and we're not gonna sit and act like, especially in this country, they always look at men as the stronger sex. So, regardless of a woman popping off with her mouth or doing something or putting hands on men, which a lot of women do, and every times I be like, first of all, because like with Chris Brown with that diss track, when you go low, I go to hell. So I'm about to be like, I'm gonna punch you in your fucking face if you're gonna put your hands on me. But the thing with that, I don't care what the gender is. If you as a woman gonna put your hands on me, then I'm gonna knock you out. And then if I do that, then all of a sudden people are looking at me as like, oh, you're the stronger sex, because in society, men are seen as the more dominant gender, the more dominant sex. So we're stronger by society standards. So if I hit a woman and knock her down to the ground and she's knocked out cold versus her putting her hands on me, they thinking like, oh, how can this woman overpower you? You're a guy. We got to get out of those constructs and really dissect these things. But the way society is set up is kind of hard. So What the people said was the following. Because what Jill Scott said, somebody went and posted so what she said was replying to at Chrissy LCSW and at Chris Brown. I doubt it. My mother's ex-husband was a mean, violent human, and he could lay foundation better than anyone in my city. What he did was with cement was awe-inspiring. We got away. He did, and he got a raise and praise for his ability. God dealt with the rest. Then another person went and posted, one thing the older black women gonna do, they're gonna defend abuses under the guise of how talented they are. It never fails, LMAO. Another person wrote, I'm not gonna say what race, what people. And they showing Kanye West, and you know Kanye done said the N-word. So and then another person put Auntie, not you. Another person put now Miss Jilly from Philly, and they had this weird looking face. And then the Shade Room posted something or another. But look, we got the gist of the situation, and it's sort of like that's another thing too. I really feel like black women seriously need to stop defending abusive ass men. And I think that's what's another thing too, where you hear about, and this is another, I'm gonna bring this in because I feel like this has something to do with it too. Whenever you talk about interracial relationships, you always talk about black men when they put their hands on black women are always taught to protect black men, regardless of what these men do to them. They can be physically abusive to you, they cheat, they do all kinds of crazy shit. Where, black women are conditioned for some reason in society to just look the other way. Oh, he a good man, Savannah. He a good man. You know that from Waiting to Exhale. It's like, regardless of how toxic the man is, he a good man. He could take care of you. He could do all these other, yeah, that's great. But if he not taking care of your mind, body, and spirit and coming to you and help and meeting you halfway in that situation, what good is the money and the finances and the fact that he can lay bricks real good in Philly? Who cares about all that shit? But if he putting his hands on you and damn near about to kill your ass, you ain't going to get to enjoy that fucking money, are you? So I don't get that. But then when these white women who are taught, oh, you ain't supposed to put up with that shit, when they give it these white girls, like a Jonathan Majors, when you get one of those situations, then all of a sudden, oh, if he would have came over to his people, he wouldn't have to deal with that, which basically says, oh, well, if he would have got with a black woman and did that shit to her, she would have taken that all the way to her grave. She wouldn't have dealt, she would have just took it on the chin, pun intended, and not ratted him out. Because black women are conditioned to protect black men at all costs. You see what happened when it came to that whole Megan Thee Stallion situation in Tory Lanez. She wasn't the one that filed them charges against him. It was the city of California. I'm gonna say Chicago. It's like the city of California filed them charges against Tory Lanez. She's still getting blamed for it because a Megan Thee Stallion, a black woman, was conditioned to protect a black man at all costs. It don't matter if he would have won that shot her in the foot. She was going to take that shit to her grave. She wasn't going to snitch on him. It was the city of California wanted to make an example out of his immigrant ass because he's from Canada. That's why he a damn immigrant. If you ain't American, you an immigrant. Well, America is founded on immigrants and stuff. I mean, before the whole Native American, we're not gonna get into a whole historical situation on the show. It's like, look, Native Americans was here first. People came over. A lot of his country was built on the backs of immigrants. We know all that tea. But I'm just saying, Tory Lane's an immigrant. He's from Canada, as I like to intentionally call it, Canada. And that's that. So I'll say all this to say, Jill, this was a fight you should have just kept your nose out of. I get that you were sitting there and want to praise him for his talent, but I feel like that this is just the timing was just bad, and you shouldn't have jumped into this. And um, as far as like the people throwing shade at Chris Brown and saying, "Well, you know what? How you sitting up in here protecting this toxic ass dude and defending that?" I feel like if it was a one-time thing with him and Rihanna, and he was out here, he did the work and rehabilitated himself to not be that toxic a-hole, then I feel like people would be more forgiving. But there's been so many things, so many incidences with Chris Brown and his violent behavior over the years that's why people continue to bring the shit up. But they'll have those people out here who will forever defend whatever he does regardless. And that's fine. If that's what y'all want to do, that's what you want to do. Some people love toxicity. But anyway, let's move on. But before we do, let me get to some of these comments. I do agree with that. People focus on Rihanna because she's the only really famous one out of his girlfriends. That's true because she is like one of the. She's bigger than Chris Brown. She's a billionaire who's moved on, got her own man and her two kids, and she's out here doing her thing. She's not thinking about Chris Brown. She's moved on from that, but we can't deny his troubling track record. So that's why people keep bringing it up. And so I remember when Michelle did her movie and told about child, that was another one too. And this one I don't understand how this ninja got a fucking what is it, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame not that long ago. What was it, maybe like earlier this year? I don't remember which month, but I know it was this year. After all he did, like beat not only beat Michelle, but the legendary story about oh my god, what was the girl's name that was at there was some type of event that happened and he beat her ass in front of all them people and all them famous people. I think she went on Wendy Williams show and talked about it. And there was story D Barnes, I think was her name or something or another. I have to remember. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But yeah, she was I think she used to work at Interscope. One of them, I think she worked at Vibe, Interscope, something or another. I don't know. I'm just thinking off the top of my head because you brought up Dr. Dre. But I do remember the story. There was a woman that came out and spoke about it, and she went on Wendy Williams' show. We talked about a couple of, last year when we were talking about the show, and I think she was going in. There was another case that came up where she was filing, a suit against Dr. Dre and that sort of thing. So he continued to be praised in this industry, and he a damn beater. Look, he performed at the Super Bowl too. Michelle grandma was defending Dr. Dre, but then apologized. Yeah, because she probably comes from a time, of he's a good man, Savannah. She probably come from that time where it says, you just put, the man was supposed to take care of the woman, and you get you a wife or in exchange for a couple of sheep. Them old times. I be thinking like when you talking about Michelle grandmother, she from them old stagecoach days. So, you get those women that have this certain way that they were taught to believe. They don't know about voting. I mean, they weren't from the time of voting and women's lib and women rising up to be equal to men and all that other stuff. So women, of a certain age have their certain beliefs, especially when it comes to relationships and looking the other way when they man out there laying it low and spreading it wide with a bunch of other women or men or cheating or they or being abusive. Robert says, I just read an article. They think Trap is a long away sequel to the. Meaning what? That Josh Hartnett is dead the whole time? Is Bruce Willis gonna pop up? I mean, he can't because Bruce Willis is he's got the same thing that Whitney Williams has, the frontal temporal dementia and aphasia. So what's his name? What's that boy name? Haley Joe Osment. Is he gonna pop up? But why would it be? I don't get. Well, I have to see the movie to find out if that's going to be a long. Trap is a long way to sequel because I don't get a sequel from that. Because first of all, Josh Hartnett's character, he's playing a serial killer who takes his daughter to a concert, and the whole concert is a trap set up for him to get arrested. And I kind of like that twist. It wasn't smart to reveal that. I guess you would have to. But the main thing, I guess, will be for people to watch the movie is that how does he get away? How does he get out of the arena and doesn't get, you know, taken out by the cops so people know who he is or whatever? How does he get away? So that's, I guess that's how we'll figure that out. Well, no, I get that Split is a sequel to Unbreakable, but that was something that we were told was going to be a sequel to Unbreakable, and Split. People were split on Split. People were actually, yeah, it was mixed reviews. Some people like Split. Some people were just like, this is not a worthy sequel to this movie. And I love Unbreakable. That's like one of my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movies. I love The Sixth Sense. I love Unbreakable. I'm trying to think of what other movies are. I actually like Signs too. But then there was a couple of other movies after that I didn't really care for. I also liked a Knock at the Cabin. Because that was even though I wanted a little more out of that, I enjoyed that movie, which was like, the gay couple and their adopted daughter was trapped in a cabin with like four people who were trying to. They'd be like, well, you have to sacrifice one of your family members to save the world. I did like that concept. So I actually like that movie, even though, like I said, in certain parts it could have been better. And Dave Bautista did his thing in that film. Um, Jonathan Groff, I don't know. I was on the fence with him. He could be pretty annoying. But he comes across like that, and I think I realized a lot of the movies and stuff that he does, especially like when he was on Looking, he annoyed me on there too. But I also we'll see if more tea comes out about Trap, and we'll see that if it actually is a sequel to The Sixth Sense. But I'm trying to make sense of how would that be, because The Sixth Sense was about a little kid who saw dead people, and the twist was that the Bruce Willis character was dead, and we didn't even know it. All right, now let's go from one no good ass man to another. Let's talk about this old trifling heifer. So Brian McKnight, rightfully so, got dragged by his son. His son came guns blazing after the mediocre singer said he doesn't claim his estranged biological kids because they are a product of sin. Now, Nico McKnight, who the singer shares with his ex-wife Julie, has clapped back at his father for calling him evil. Now, jumping into the comments of the Shade Room's post, Nico decided to expose his father's alleged dirty laundry. He alluded to his father's infidelity while he was in a relationship with a woman named Lisa. He said, "I'm evil. That's wild. The guy who used to make me clean his used condoms out his bathroom at 15 before Lisa got home is calling me evil for show." This is what he wrote in a comment. In a separate comment, he added, "The guy who forged SIGs on our names is calling," oh, he's saying who forged signatures on our names is calling us evil. I was like, what are you talking about, SIGs? I'm like, signatures. So what kind of scam agent is this father doing? Because he's saying he forging signatures. So you need to be a little more specific in regards of what he's exactly forging on. Like, is there some type of documentation? Is it anything to do with child support or whatever the case was? I don't know if they old enough or too old or aged out to be getting the child support. But I'm like, if it comes to any kind of government paperwork or whatever that he's been forging y'all signatures on, that may be something you need to take to the people and drag your father down. Now, I did have someone that I saw. I don't know if it was on. There was something I saw on social media, and it pegged me to comment. Normally, I don't. I just be like, let me just scroll on by. Let me not say nothing. But I hate when people say some stupid shit. So there was somebody that was in the comments. Some girl was like, "Where did he say this? I need proof." And my answer for that, for everything, is Google is your friend, sis. Use it sometime. Like, I don't understand people who be talking about they need proof of some shit. Well, people just be making stuff up on social media, and people always be. I'm like, what? Nobody made. Why would anybody just sit up here and say Brian McKnight made that shit up about his own damn kids? Like, for the past couple of months, he's been talking about how his older kids ain't shit, and then he acknowledges the new kids. Didn't Chris Pratt do the same damn thing recently, where this was like him and his new Schwarzenegger broad, and they having a bunch of kids, but he kind of like just thumbed his nose at the child he had with Anna Faris because apparently the child has special needs. So he doesn't even pay that child no mind, but he's now acknowledging the new family. And to that, I say this, sir, you the one that laid down with the wife and had them damn kids. You can't be sitting up in here and blaming them over a fact when them kids didn't ask to be born. Now, for those who aren't familiar with what Brian McKnight said, because I have to sometimes bring receipts because apparently people too lazy to look for the goddamn receipt. So Brian came under fire after he addressed a fan who supported his choice to publicly disown his biological children, citing concerns about the presence of pure evil amongst some relatives. Appreciating the fans' comment, he said, "I want to big up my man right here. He gets it." Yeah, okay. He probably just as much of a damn bum as you. And he said in order to live a life that you love, you have to get rid of the evil and the negativity, even if that evil and negativity is related to you. Another person disagreed, noting the same God that said honor your father and mother also said children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from him. Your children are a reflection of the work and prayers and spirituality and moral compass that parents pour into kids. And they said parents pour into kids in caps. It says, you disown kids that you created, and you are also against God, but judgment day is between you and your maker. So hashtag carry. Okay. Yeah, first of all, y'all be doing too much with the church shit. Like, save that stuff for, the Bible, your Bible study, your Sunday service, whatever it is. I hate when people be bringing biblical shit into a conversation that ain't got nothing to do with them. You could just say it at some point that, you know what, you're the one, and I'm going to say it as raw as I can. You're the one who decided to lay down with your ex-wife and have all them damn children. You can't just be sitting up here and talk about, well, they didn't work out the way that I wanted to work out. The whole situation didn't turn into what I wanted it to. So fuck y'all. I'm going to start over. And here's the thing. The new wife, she got kids from a previous marriage too. So hypocritical much? Like, you sit up in here and you take this new wife under your bill. First of all, I should point out she ain't black, which probably is another thing that goes with that too. It's like, but wait a minute, your first wife was a black woman and you disowning them, but you okay with this lady over here with her previously, previous relationship kids, and then you having kids with her and starting over. I don't know what his wife's nationality is. She looks Filipino to me. Or maybe she might be like South American or whatever the case is, but she gives me Filipino teas. So I'm guessing that's the wife's nationality or ethnicity. But I want to know, what did those kids do for you to feel the way that you feel about them? Because I will say this, I do agree that at times you do have to cut out the cancer when it comes to relatives, because all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Trust and believe when I tell you that there's siblings of mine that I don't deal with. Nothing to deal with. Like, they can burn in the fiery pits of hell of all I care. And that's no shade, that's just true tea. But when it comes to kids or whatever, unless they did something completely vile that broke your trust, or they did something or another, I could understand you want to disown them, but I just feel like what it is that you've found this new woman, you've decided to just turn your nose up and turn your back on your previous responsibilities and your past children, because you're thinking, oh, I could wipe that slate clean. And a lot of parents do be doing that. They feel like, oh, well, because it didn't work out with me and my ex and I had those kids with them, then it's like, you know what, F y'all, I'm gonna throw y'all out in the pasture, and I'm gonna start over with this new family and create this new situation with these new people over here. And to me, it's like, no, you don't get to do that. You decide to lay down and have a whole family with this ex-wife of yours. And whatever bitterness that comes out of that, that's something y'all need to work out, but you shouldn't have to throw that off on your children. But it says, unlike her son Nico, Brian's ex, Julie McKnight, managed to keep her cool. Now, in a video, Julie, who also shares Brian Jr. with the singer, said, the point of every negative situation, whether it's illness, whether it's a fool that you have to deal with because they keep entering your life when you are no longer given any more energy to it, is to only keep you down to where you thought they had you, because they were the author of an extremely abusive situation emotionally and mentally. And they're no good at not being the center of attention anymore. So when everybody pulls that away, it's like a kid without a candy who throws a tantrum. Julie also said she loves her sons, Brian Jr. and Nico, and that she's so proud to have raised them predominantly on my own with the help of her friends, family, and community. So it also goes to show that the father was a bum, a deadbeat, who wasn't even taking care of him. And what I don't understand, they said he also has a biological daughter named Brianna from a relationship with his ex, Patricia Driver, and a son named Clyde with a woman whose identity remains unknown. So he got a bunch of kids. He got a bunch of kids with a bunch of different broads out here. So I'm assuming this is what he was in a relationship where he had a daughter. And so is this his third marriage? Because that's what it's giving me. But I won't say this about Brian McKnight. I never liked his ass. There was always something about him that rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm so glad that I have the instincts that I have. Like, my gut never steers me wrong when it comes to people. Like, I'm real good when it comes to instincts. If people are a piece of shit, I can always smell it a mile away. So it's just like, whenever I looked at him and he did that Back at Once video or whatever, look, we can all count on probably 2 fingers how many hits Brian McKnight actually has. But I was just like, he always kind of gave me like a piece of shit vibe. Like, I've always thought that he was straight up trash. I never particularly cared for his music. I always thought his music was about as dry as that damn personality. And I truly agree with, the ex-wife. where she said that, that he comes across as someone who I believe was probably mentally and emotionally abusive. Not only to her, but to them kids. And when you say some shit like that, that is a form of emotional abuse when you post it online. And when she goes, and they're no good at not being the center of attention anymore. Yeah, because who's checking for Brian McKnight in 2024? I'll wait. We gonna be here all night. But anyway, let me know what y'all think down in the comments, because like I said, and I stand 10 toes down on it. Brian, you a piece of shit. And ain't no good gonna come to you until you do right by your ex and them damn churns. I just want to say churns like that on purpose, but but anyway. All right, let's move on and let's talk about Wendy Williams' trifling ass ex, Kelvin Hunter, who apparently decided to go in and let have on Blac Chyna. I don't know why. But he talking about people was in the comments, people was, dissing him or whatever. Child, first of all, Elgin Charles, shout out to him. That's he threw shade at Kelvin Hunter in this post. Elgin Charles, for y'all don't know who that is. He's a legendary celebrity hairstylist who at one point was married to Jackée Harry. Child, I don't know why Jackée married that man, because basically that's like Star Jones marrying Al You Doing Reynolds. I was like, girl, you ain't know you married you a punk and a sissy. Maybe she did. She just wanted that extra, she wanted that love and affection, or that, what is it? That kinship, that partner, that friend. But child, Claudia Jordan even jumped in the comments. She put, "Shut up, Kevin Williams. Leave trying to name out your mouth." Kevin Williams, because they basically call him Mr. Wendy Williams. But anyway, we're gonna play this clip because I don't understand why in the hell he coming after Blac Chyna. Because what Blac Chyna do? All Blac Chyna did was support Wendy. She always showed like she always came across to be like she genuinely cared for Wendy Williams, that she wasn't somebody who was a grifter and an opportunist. Same thing we can't say for, about Kelvin Hunter or Kelvin Williams, as we should call him, because he was never a hunter. It's funny how Wendy always said, "I'm a hunter." No, you're Wendy Williams. You were the breadwinner. He was your manager who was in your employment. And this heifer sat up in here and thought that he could grift your money for the rest of his life and support his that no good ass whore, Sharina, and their bastard baby, because that's what it is, off of your coins while you was married. So he thought he could have his cake and eat it. But Elgin, I don't know if I said it right. He said this dude does everything but apply for a job. But anyway, let's play this clip and then we'll come back.
All of you miserable hewers and women on my page are going to be very mad. But for the smart people, who understand the plight of, I'm not trying to play victim. Again, I take full accountability. A lot of y'all still don't know what's going on, and you still won't know what's going on. And as per the documentary that you just saw, which was whatever, I knew nothing about it, you still don't know what's going on. And guess what? There was nothing good that came out of that. Nothing good came out of the documentary. So I don't know what was this display for. All of the people that were involved, the celebrities, half of them were involved in enabling her. So Blac Chyna, you need to go sit down before I air you out and let people know what you really did. There's a lot, but I'm not here for that. Listen, you miserable women, please stay off my page. Just stay off my page. Pray for the people that's involved. Pray for my ex-wife. Pray for Wendy Williams. Pray for Wendy Williams. Pray that for the family. Pray for everybody that's involved. And whatever I'm out here doing and whatever people think I'm doing, guess what? If I don't go out here and do it, who the fuck is going to, what we going to do? We're going to just let everybody, whatever the display is, whoever's in charge, they clearly don't care. So, and I've been minding my business. I've been doing what I got to do to make these announcements that I'm about to make to show that I am working hard. I'm going to keep working. My legacy is not over. Whatever I have to do for the legacy, that still includes my entire family, is still not over. My son is looking. My daughter's looking. My lady is looking. Everybody's looking now. So at this point, if you don't really care, if you still caught up on that nigga armatry or that nigga news about whatever, you don't really see what's going on here, the real plight, then okay. But please, I'm going to ask you to please refrain, you women, refrain from my comments. Refrain, go get a life, go get a man, go get some penis, go do whatever you need to do. But please stop worrying about Kelvin. All of you miserable healers and women on my page are going to be very mad. But for the smart people.
Okay. Who's checking from Kelvin Hunter? Because I'm like, nobody's been talking about you, sir. Nobody's been thinking about you. You're just looking for a moment where you could just jump online and just start spewing a bunch of nothing. And he's talking about his son is looking. First of all, your son is emancipated from his parents, or maybe from his father. I don't know, but I've heard that Lil Kev was emancipated or got an emancipation. He emancipated himself, in the words of Khalees. And then he's talking about his lady. You mean the one that ran off allegedly to South Carolina after you ran out of money? Or Wendy's money? So what are you talking about? Allegedly? I should probably put on alleged in there. He's talking about go get you some penis or whatever. What you need to do is go out and get yourself a goddamn job. That's what you need to be doing. Tommy, what's your job? What job you got? We ain't heard nothing about what this nigga out here doing in regards of, besides grifting Wendy's money. And you still, you lost everything. You have no money. You have nothing coming in. You still out here trying to get something out of this, squeeze as much lemon out of this juice out of this lemon as you possibly can and can't. Now, Sabrina, the woman who's in charge of Wendy's financial affairs is hitting him up for over $100,000 in money that you were overpaid. So now she's trying to come for you to, bring that money back because you weren't supposed to be paid what you was paid. So I don't understand why he's coming up in here and just doing all of this, like going on a whole rant or whatever on social media about a bunch of nothing. And then he was talking about that there was people taking advantage of her. Yeah, there was people, and said that there was nothing that came out of that docuseries. I think a lot came out of that docuseries. Besides, people, if once people get past bitching and moaning about, oh, well, you're making Wendy look this bad, or painting her in a bad light, or whatever the case is. What I felt like the docuseries did was it shed light on this conservatorship that she was in. The fact of the matter that she had a lot of people that she was surrounded by that was not really helping her get the help that she needs, that she was drinking herself to death, that there was somebody that was around that was giving her this money or buying her alcohol and slipping it to her and supporting her drug habits. Somebody was there doing it. They got rid of Will Selby. And then you got rid of the other girl, the one that was supposed to be the assistant, whatever the hell her job was, the one that her niece Alex didn't like, and I didn't like based off her energy. The minute she, I said, "Oh, this bitch opportunist." What's her name? Sean Zanotti. They had since been fired after the whole situation. And so I felt like the docuseries exposed a lot of the craziness that was going on in the family. Now, hopefully, like I said, Wendy is getting all the help that she needs and she's getting better. Y'all supposed to pray for her, pray. What's praying doing? Praying doing shit. What Wendy needs is a lot of the care that she needs. She needs family around her that supports and loves her. And she needs a facility that can really get her back on, on top, and get her the help that she needs for her frontal temporal aphasia and the dementia. That's what she needs to get help for. All the medical needs that she needs, that's what she needs to be working on. Don't worry about a podcast. Don't worry about this old no good ass ex-husband who basically tried to bleed your ass dry. And I don't think he ever loved her. I believe Wendy loved him, but I believe he loved the money, the success, and the fame. And she had to make him feel like something. So she had to go, give him a job. And then revert to herself as Wendy Williams Hunter because I'm soft and pink and I have this, I need to make him feel like a man. Because what else Kelvin got going on? You tried so many little side gigs with Wendy's money with you and Sharina and they all failed. The vegan pancake situation, side hustle, and all these other things that you was coming out with. Everything Sharina touched turned to shit. And him. He has never been able to produce any product outside of being married to Wendy Williams. And he was a good manager for her because he helped her with a lot of her deals. And when a lot of people tried to come for Wendy, he was good security. That's what he gave. But other than that, it's like, what else do you have to offer to the world and to this? So, you know, You ruined your whole damn family just so you can get a side chick pregnant, and now you broke. Maybe what needs to happen is because maybe Carlos King could use some help on one of his reality shows. Ain't nobody watching them married Love and Marriage Huntville show. Maybe he can get him on there on one of them shows. He could be the new Martell. Maybe that's what he need to do over there, because ain't nobody watching Bold and Bougie and all them other tight ass shows. Like these whole formats where just y'all get a bunch of people in, from a city, and then they just been sitting there reading each other down to the floor. This whole concept is so old. The Real Housewives, the Basketball Wives, the all the wives, anything to do with all these people, rich bitches or Eastwick or whatever you want to call it, or the Potomac or Love and Marriage and Bold and Bougie, all them shows are so stupid. The whole concept is tired. Maybe they need to get him on one of them damn shows, because you bitch more than a damn woman. But anyway. Also knows he got a big ass head too. I'm like, damn, that dome is huge. Like it was giving me full on, the back part of the head from the xenomorphs and from Aliens. Like that dome was doming. Anyway. Can't stand that motherfucker on account of what he did to my sis, Wendy Williams. Like that's the legend, the icon. That's the woman who has been an inspiration since I've been doing celebrity news and gossip for almost 2 decades. And so when you did her the way you did her, and I'm not saying she innocent and shit that she's done, but he just trashed me. But anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about this lawsuit with David Beckham and Mark Wahlberg, because I didn't know much about this, but I was like, I don't know why you were getting in business with this old piece of, that old Jesus freak. So Hollywood actor and fitness guru Mark Wahlberg is being sued by David Beckham after a deal that saw the footballer promote the star's fitness brand turn sour and allegedly left golden balls. Oh, that's what y'all calling them now? Golden balls more than 8 million pounds out of pocket. Now, per TMZ, the legendary soccer star's company DB Ventures Limited filed a lawsuit claiming Wahlberg's Mark Wahlberg Investment Group duped Beckham into doing business with the fitness company in which the actor has a 36% interest and is on the board of directors. Beckham agreed to be a global ambassador once he became friends with Wahlberg after moving to LA. Now, according to the lawsuit, Beckham lost $10 million when stocks he was owed in the deal with the company weren't given to him until after the stock price had fallen. Beckham is also suing F45's founders Adam Gilchrist and Rob Deutsch. Now, Wahlberg and his co-defendants asked to dismiss the lawsuit. It is described as fraudulent conduct, but a judge ruled against him, as he should. Because Mark Wahlberg's a piece of shit. And another thing with Mark Wahlberg, too, that I noticed, I'm like, wait a minute. But isn't this the same clown? First of all, he can't act his way out of a goddamn paper bag, but he always gets roles. And then, he recently did a movie with a damn dog. I hated what they did with the Uncharted series. Like, first of all, that whole movie was miscast. He should not be playing no damn Sully. Y'all should have always hired Stephen Lang to play him, and I think y'all should have went a little older with Nathan Drake. I'm still mad about that. And they talking about they making a sequel. We don't want it. Sorry. As a Uncharted fan, I don't want it. I'll say I don't want it. I won't speak for everybody. But that first movie I saw, it just looked like a bunch of damn set pieces thrown together, and y'all believed it was a movie. It was another horrible ass video game adaptation. Y'all need to go a little older instead of picking Tom Holland, who always will look like he's 12 years old, even though he's pushing 30. So, I've never particularly cared for him. And then also recently when he did that crazy ass church video promotion or whatever during the Super Bowl, which I heard that church that he was promoting is extremely homophobic. And I wouldn't put nothing past Mark Wahlberg, knowing his history of homophobia and racism and how he damn near killed this Asian man back in when he was living in Boston, almost went to jail for murder when he went and hit that man and damn near killed him. Like, I remember that story. We going to sit and drag Chris Brown's past. We're going to drag his shit up too. We're not only going to just drag the black people on this show. We're going to drag the white ones too. So they said that Beckham isn't the only athlete who sued F45 training. Now, former NFL wide receiver Terrell Owens sued them in 2017, claiming the company never paid him the $700,000 he was promised in a promotional video deal. And here's what I don't understand. And this is why I say, you know what? I would never go into business with a Mark Wahlberg or whatever. Like, what is he doing? All I know is he does these stupid inspirational church shit. He does his, he's always working out at like 4 a.m. and he's always playing golf. He's like a fit version of Donald Trump, basically. Even though that face look every bit is 50 plus. But the body is looking like it's 30. The body's 30. The face look like it's 55. But what I don't understand is like why David would go into business with someone who even dissed him back in 2009. So I had to pull up the receipts, and basically, back when David and Victoria moved from the UK to the US, and then it was like paparazzi was all over the place. It was mania back when they first moved to LA in 2009. So they've lived here for like what, almost 15 years. So he says, I'm not telling Beckham to take his family home. I'm just not sure why he came to America in the first place. This is what he told Daily Mail in 2009. He says, man, we don't want your soccer. There's no way Americans are going to buy the idea of 90 minutes of running around without much happening. Thanks for trying, guys, but we'll stick to baseball and basketball. And this goes to show like his white privilege is showing, because if you really know what you're talking about, soccer, which is known over in Europe as football, F-U-T-B-O-L, not F-O-O-T-B-A-L-L, because American sports, football, all that stuff. Soccer is very much huge in the United States because we have a lot of people who are, I don't know, this might be hard for him to understand because maybe he's still like got the Boston brain, even though he lives in LA. But America's a melting pot. There's a lot of, and especially when it comes to the Latino market, they're starting to outpace, in regards of demographics, a lot of other communities, Black people, white people, whatever you want to call it. Latinos are like becoming the bigger, more global dominant force in the United States, especially like in regards of immigrants that live here. Soccer is huge when it comes to the Latin community, especially when it comes to like, well, if you're from South America or if you're a Mexican, like soccer is huge. So is cricket. I didn't even know that about cricket, but apparently a lot of people like cricket. Especially if you're like if you're South Asian, like Indian, the Palestinian. If you're from, if you're, a brown person, um, a lot of these type of stuff is very huge. And I guess maybe because he's white, he doesn't get it because it's not something he's into. He's more or less about the all-American baseball, basketball, possibly hockey. Hockey's huge too. I told you I work at the Garden. Yesterday I did the Stanley Cup, the first game of the playoffs. The day before I did the Knicks. Tonight is the second game for the Knicks with the playoffs, and I'm not working that one. But yeah. So I don't understand. So, like I said, I don't understand why David Beckham would do business with him. I just always thought like Mark Wahlberg was a piece of shit. I don't particularly care for him, and then it's just whatever. But you live and you learn. I'm sure he will get a payout because if the judge dismissed what Mark Wahlberg and them was over there doing, it's not the first time he's been sued over this business deal. Then I'm sorry, but I'm siding with David Beckham, and I hope he gets every red cent. All right, so that was read the let's see. Oh, Ryan Reynolds basically said it's not intentional that 35 years ago, this day, Like a Prayer, began a 6-week run on the Billboard 200 to where the song was used. He said, been in Cheek Mills, not Cheek Mills, child. Diddy was bending over a lot of people, apparently. Look, they said the other day he was bending. Some dude talking about he kicked in the door and Carl Winslow, aka Reginald Bell Johnson, was being bent over by Diddy. I'm like, did you get that confused with TD Jakes? Because I know they kind of look alike. They in size and complexion. They two big Black dudes. So I'm like, did you get him confused? I mean, don't get me wrong. I do believe that Reginald was family. He gave me that vibe. But there's a lot of gay men that worked in Hollywood. Sherman Helmsley was another one. May he rest in peace, George Jefferson. But yeah, so it's just like, do I believe the whole Cheek Mills thing? I mean, possibly. I mean, child, when I heard that audio of some dude getting his cheeks clapping, him screaming, so you better take that, take that. That's what I was thinking. It said my niece Lily and nephews play soccer. She plays basketball. So that's what I say. It's like, I just feel like a lot of y'all white folks, y'all really need to educate yourselves out here and knowing like what the sports are that are really popping. Sidebar, there was a lot of celebrities that was at, first of all, it was 2 days in a row. When I went to when I was doing the playoffs. The first night when it came to the Knicks and the Rangers, who was there? I mean the Knicks. I said the Knicks and the Rangers. The Knicks and the Rangers, they both were there. So actually one of them. First night for the Knicks game, it was Justin Thoreau was there, who was fine in person, and Jason Bateman was there. They were sitting right next to each other courtside. Also, oh my God, David Harbour was there from Stranger Things. And Lily Allen was next to him. I recognized her. I was like, she was sitting right next to him on the court, but they only focused the camera on him. But I was looking because I zoned in. I was like, where the camera at? Because literally, when I worked the Knicks game, I was actually next to the court. So I was way down in the front. And what pissed me off is a lot of them people that spend all that damn money, y'all be thinking y'all can get disrespectful. Not in my mom, sir. That's not how that works. Because somebody tried me. But it was dealt with. But anyway, so he was there, but I was looking, I was like, who's that next to him? And it was like a black woman. It was a white girl with some dark hair, short, and I was like, Lily Allen, because I know that's his mom. They married. I think they are married. So they was there, but then Justin Thoreau, I don't think was there at the hockey game, but I did see that Jason Bateman was there the next day. And Steve Sharipper from Sopranos, he's always at the games. So it was good to see him up in there. And everybody was excited because, the white people love Sopranos. They sure do. But anyway, so, and I was like, if David Harbour's there, it's like, is he on break from, oh my God, what is that damn, Thunderbolts? Because I know they're filming that. And he's in that. But anyway, let's move on since we were talking about Madonna. And let's talk about Tay Tay. Or I like to call it Tayonce. Because wants me Beyonce so bad. But anyway, so Taylor Swift could soon sit alongside the Queen of Pop Madonna as the female artist with the most #1 albums in the UK, following the release of her divisive 11th album, and yes, emphasis on divisive, The Tortured Poets Department. The record which shouts out queer boy genius member Lucy Dacus, I think that's how you say her last name, and rumored bisexual actress Clara Bow, smashed streaming records over the weekend. Now, following its release on Friday, the 19th of April, The Tortured Poets Department became the first album to receive more than 200 million streams on Spotify in one day. It beat Swift's last album, 2022 Midnights, which previously held the record for most streamed albums on Spotify in a single day with 185 million streams. Now, I heard a lot of people were upset over the album because, first of all, she released a standard version of the album, and then hours later, she decided, oh, I'm doing like this anthology thing where I'm going to release 30 tracks. And I heard that there were some people that were overwhelmed by the amount, that they felt like they were duped because it's like, oh, wait a minute. So I bought like the physical CD because people are actually buying physical copies of stuff, like with vinyl and stuff. And so she did that same shit, I believe, with her Midnight's album. Is that, oh, I'm gonna try to find a way to game the system. And that's one of the things that I notice, like Robert and I always have conversations about, where a lot of times a lot of these artists are gaming the system, and they can get away with it in the United States. But I believe that if you go overseas, so like the UK and all those places, you can't pull them same stunts that they're pulling over here in the United States. And a lot of times y'all over here trying to game the system and play these stunts so that way you can get all your songs to go stream simultaneously when they're listening to it on Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever the case is. I also, even though Robert and I also had this conversation, and I've heard multiple people say this, and I'm like, what, you honestly, because he is a, I don't know if I can call you a Swiftie, but I know he loves Taylor Swift. I told you I have friends that are Swifties, and I also got friends that are beehives and barbs. I do have barb friends too. See, I can have a difference of opinion with people and still remain cordial and friendly. people need to learn that you can do that, and it's okay that you can have differences of opinions. It's okay to like somebody or not like somebody, but still y'all can have stuff in common and be friends. Now, would I have a friend? Would I be friends with somebody that's a Trump supporter? I don't know. I don't think I have any. That is. I'd have to have that. I'd have to really sit down and have those conversations with somebody to really know. But I was like, no, I think that's going a little too far. But for the most part, when it comes to music and stuff, it's like, yeah, but I'm not a stan of anybody. I can't be like, especially when you've been in the industry, in and out of the industry, you know things. It's like I cannot be a stand for a celebrity because when you know the tea and you know how shit works behind the scenes, it's hard to do that. But anyway, so I have to say I don't like that. But also what I was trying to get at, because Robert and I had this conversation, when it comes to um gaming the system and all that other stuff. I've also heard some people say that this is not her best body of work. And that maybe it's time for her to part ways with Jack Antonoff and the other guy that she works with. I forgot his name. But Jack Antonoff is the most famous one that we all know because he's worked with so many other people. And at one point, they said that she was even trying to hijack Lana Del Rey's style. I was hearing that over the weekend, which is why she's been trotting around Lana Del Rey everywhere. Even when she was at the Grammys, there's other places like, no, why are you doing that? Like, let Lana do what Lana does. And to me, it just always seemed like Taylor Swift is someone who has not found her own situation and has figured out how to make something work for her. She's busy trying to hijack other people's style because she tried to do it with Robin. She tried to do it with all these other people that comes out. Even at one point, it was like her sonically, her music was trying to sound like Tegan and Sarah, like that whole vibe and all this. It's like, stop taking from the indie artists and trying to do what they do and just do you. Also, I know a lot of people were upset over her airing out Matt Healy's dirty laundry for the 1975 and spilling tea about his drug abuse and all that other stuff. It's like, but wait a minute, is that your business to tell? Like, I don't feel like someone of her stature should be out here airing people's dirty laundry like that. Because here's the thing, and then he's getting abused from the Swifties online over things that she's putting in her songs. Why are y'all jumping into that? Like, I don't understand fans when y'all listen to a song and you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna just tweet and write all these little mean, harassing things about a celebrity. But let them do that shit to her. And then all of a sudden, they're the scum of the earth and they're disgusting. But it's okay for her to sit and get in relationships with people just to write songs about them and just spill all their dirty laundry. Like, I don't like that. Like, don't get me wrong. It's been a tale as old as time that there are people that take things that go on in their life and they use that as fuel or inspiration to create whatever art they need to create and exercise that. Was she even in a relationship with Matt Healy all that long? I feel like they was only in a relationship for 5 minutes. How you write a whole album about him? But then yet other guy, what's his name? Alwyn. I forget his first name, or if that is his first name. But she was in a whole 6-year relationship with him. So I don't understand that. But it's just like, I get that, some artists, they need that to write about things that's going on in their life. But for you to go in and spill all their tea, I don't like that about, you doing that and then talking about somebody's drug use. Now, I can understand if you want to talk about your own drug use. I don't think she does that. But Chad, I hope you signed an NDA. I hope you had her sign an NDA, Travis Kelce, because if y'all break up, you don't think she gonna spill your shit all over the internet too? On her next album? So it's like when it comes to anybody, y'all gotta tread lightly when it comes to getting in a relationship with her. And I feel like she's another one that I feel like is like in the same situation like a Madonna and some of these other like these A-list or Jennifer Lopez, where y'all need to be by yourself. Y'all, it's just getting in a relationship with somebody is just not gonna work for y'all because it's just too much to deal with, y'all. Like, I don't even think her relationship with Ben Affleck is gonna last. I think he'll try to make this shit last as long as he can, but I just feel like Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, him being with her, she's insufferable. And Taylor Swift, like I seen some people saying like, oh, I can't believe that she could be such a mean girl. I'm like, have y'all not been paying attention? Like, there's been things that she has said and done in the past that I've looked at her like, I see you got a good team that be cleaning up the mess, but she gets shady too. She ain't no innocent. So, but it's that typical white girl likes to play the victim. situation. But I did cackle when she did go in on Kim Kardashian though. I mean, I was like, that was warranted. And the fact that Northwest is a Swiftie, I think that little girl hate her mother so damn much. She finds ways to dig into her. I truly feel like all the shit that Kim has done in the past, that North is her karma. And you know, I always say that about people and their kids, that um watch what you do in life because you gonna get it back in the form of your children. And a lot of people don't believe that, but I truly do. Now, the whole thing, now I know I wanted this whole side thing, but I think that was all to just break down the things that's been going on, especially with all the stuff I've been hearing about Taylor and this album and why people have been kind of divisive about it. So it says that the new album ascends to the top spot in the UK charts this Friday on the 26th of April. Swift will match Madonna's record as the female artist with the most #1 albums, according to Vegas Insider. Madonna currently has 12 #1 albums in the country, while Swift has 11. Now, Swift's attempt at tying Madge's record has been hugely helped by the re-release of her albums Fearless and Speak Now, both of which did hit #1 originally, but did in their re-release Taylor's version formats. However, the monumental music star has managed to bag 11 #1 albums in 18 years, as opposed to Madonna's 12 albums or #1s in 40 years. Well, that's because Madonna takes her time when it comes to releasing music versus Taylor Swift, who wants to drop a new album every year or every other year. Madonna usually takes 2 to 3 years to release a record. Now, since Madam X and now, this has been a long time, sis. It's been 5 years. So you really need to get back into, once this tour is over, sis, niece, mother, Madonna, you need to get back into the studio with Max Martin and conjure up some hits. Sidebar, I meant to mention this also. Some people believe, because I don't think I finished that, they want her to leave Jack Antonoff alone and get back with Max Martin, because Max Martin gave us some bops. But, and like I said before, Conan Gray's new album, I don't know if y'all heard it, but Max Martin produced that, and that album is everything. I love that record. I have been having it on repeat. I told you I don't be really listening to Gen Z music like that, but a lot of these there's a couple of Gen Zers out here that's really putting out quality music. And I wasn't an Olivia Rodrigo fan until I saw her when I was working at the Garden, but now I like her. And Conan Gray, he's a cutie. I think he's a member of our community. I don't want to be out the children, but I'm just saying I get that vibe. And I like a lot of what he's doing, like the synth pop, the gothic, like the rock music. And it's kind of giving me like a lot of the old school 80s type of rock, synthy rock vibe that I grew up listening to and stuff as a kid. So I like a lot of what Conan's out here doing, and Max Martin produced that record. And there's a lot of bops on that record. Maybe I think out of the whole album, maybe there's 2 songs in there that I particularly care for. But for the most part, it's a solid record. And I don't know what issue that she may have had with Max Martin or whatever, but I do feel like, Taylor, you're at that midpoint in your life where you're in your mid-30s. You're going to have to really switch it up. That whole childlike lyricisms and all the other things that you've been doing with your music, you're going to have to mature at some point, because you can't be doing the same thing forever and thinking you can get away with it. Because now the fans are, I think, with this album, because it's so divisive, people are looking at Taylor Swift like, okay, sis, like the hype is bigger than the music. And people are going to be onto you soon. So if you really want to be out here smashing records and breaking records and all this other stuff, you really need to bring it. Like, she has so much money from that Eras tour. You don't really need to be taking advantage of your fan base by, releasing a standard and then an album with 30 more tracks on it. So I don't get all that. But yeah. Now what else? Let me see what else it says that I need to add. They said while the 34-year-old actress is likely to match Madonna actress, I meant songstress. While the 34-year-old songstress is likely to match Madonna's record in the UK this Friday, she looks set to beat it in Australia. Both Madonna and Taylor Swift have had 12 #1 albums in the country, yet Swift will almost certainly make it 13 this week. In the U.S., both artists' home country, Swift has already blown Madonna out of the water on the #1 albums front. The anti-hero star currently has 13 #1 albums, likely 14 by the end of the week, while Madonna has just 9. But you also have to think that Madonna is 65, and Taylor Swift is in her 30s. Taylor Swift has had opportunities to release more records than Madonna because Madonna takes her time when it comes to releasing albums. She also took breaks when she went and had 2 children. So, and then also you have to realize that ageism played a lot in why Madonna's albums didn't go to number 1 in America, especially when it came to like American Life and stuff that happened later on. And then the other albums that she was releasing, like MDNA and all those records, people wasn't really feeling post Confessions era Madonna. So they're saying that she could soon become the artist with the most number 1 albums of all time in Ireland, breaking her tie with Bruce Springsteen, as both currently have 10 records that have ascended to the top of the charts. Well, Bruce Springsteen ain't releasing no new music. And despite the Tortured Poets Department has received staggering streaming numbers, the record has also fiercely divided critics, with some calling it an instant classic and others dubbing it underwhelming and clunky. Well, I feel like the people that's calling it instant classics are the ones that don't want to get dragged by the Swifties, because there was a story that Robert did send me over the week. He was sending me a lot of Taylor Swift stuff, where he was basically saying that they removed the name of one of the reviewers of her album, because out of fear of the Swifties threatening the writer. And I'm sitting there like, what they gonna do? Beat her with a friendship bracelet? Like, what are y'all gonna be doing out here, possibly to hurt to hurt these people that's giving constructive criticism? People y'all get on my damn nerves. Like, if y'all like something, it's okay to like something. But if somebody wants to openly criticize, which is what critics are paid to do, like this has been going on since, before speech replaced sign language. That the fact that, you have magazines, you have newspapers, you have these publications and blogs, and now we got the internet, because people don't physically hold newspapers and shit anymore, unless you're old school, or unless you're like somebody who loves the smell of paper, which I actually love. I love physical media, whether it's a magazine, a newspaper, a CD, a DVD, or or vinyl. And um, since before speech was paid sign language, we've always had people who paid to give, critiques of people's music. And just because you're a fan of that person and you may have loved that album cover to cover, even though sometimes I really feel like y'all just openly support it, but deep down in y'all souls, y'all be knowing that some of y'all faves be releasing a little turd every now and again. Because even with me, like I told y'all, I love Madonna. I don't think she's ever released a terrible album, but there are albums of mine that I will say are not instant faves. There are some songs on the record that I love, and then there's some albums that I'm just like, this album is trash. Like MDNA is a record that this got a couple of good songs on there, but that album is clunky and all over the place. It lacks focus. I feel the way about Hard Candy too. Like Hard Candy, I feel like the production from Pharrell and Timbaland outweigh the lyricism and the overall direction of the record. I feel like their production was just too big for Madonna, especially on what they were trying to do. It felt like Nelly Furtado's Loose was doing Madonna, and Madonna was playing cosplay version of herself through Nelly Furtado, if that makes sense. Even though a lot of the girls look at Madonna as the blueprint, it felt like Madonna was playing cosplay of herself through the younger generation that was doing her in their music. So it should be okay for people to give constructive criticism about artists that they, even if it's your fave, or you should allow people to do their job. If you like the album, that's great, but you don't have to go around bullying people or threatening to just kill them or go after their kids or whatever crazy shit that y'all be writing on social media, because I don't. I got a life. Like, I ain't got time to be up in here trolling people. I'll read stuff, I'll look, and I'll scroll on by. Or if I have any criticism about stuff, this is why I have a show. I bring it here, and I try to hit all sides of the cylinder so that way it don't come across like I'm just being like some shady ass hater. I'm just giving my opinion and trying to see all sides of the coin, which I feel like people should do. And just just let critics be critics. That's their job. Like, I don't understand the hate. But like I said, if you like the album, It's all right. But for the most part, everybody's saying it's clunky. But if you're a fan of the album, of Tortured Dead Poet Society, whatever the hell it's called, Because every time it's toward the soul department, I don't know why I be thinking Dead Poet Society, and that's what I'm gonna just call it. Shout out to Robin Williams. Um, just let me know down in the comments what y'all think about this album. Did you like it? Was it clunky? Like the critics are saying? Do you even give a shit? Let me let me know down below. I mean, apparently a lot of people do care because I got 23 damn comments I gotta get to. Please let me scroll the way up. Okay. Robert says it's at 2 million in the US right now. I just really don't get the fascination with her. She hasn't done anything really memorable. Well, it's like what Ncuti Gatwa says. Well, we're going to get to that next comment. He says, white mediocrity is celebrating this country while you got people who have to work 10 times as hard to get a smidgen of what Taylor Swift is getting. I guess we could call Beyonce into that conversation. She releases multiple covers for her albums, but only her diehards are buying them. Yeah, and that's why she's getting that money. But then on top of that, so you're releasing multiple covers, which is what a lot of celebrities are doing now. They're releasing, a lot of musicians, they're releasing multiple covers for their multiple vinyl covers, I should say, for their albums, which is a collector's item. So they're doing the standards, and then you go hours after they've already pre-ordered all these different covers of the vinyls and all this other stuff. Then you go, hours later after it's already been pre-ordered, because we already knew the 2 million pre-orders was coming in before the album dropped. Then you go and it's like, oh, well, surprise, I'm releasing an anthology, which is like 30 more, 25 more tracks to add to the 12. I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know how many how many she added in total, but I'm just saying. That's just an example. I said every gay has their basic bitch stuff. That's Taylor Swift. My son patches and pumpkin spice. I can laugh at myself. I don't understand what that means, but okay. It's like, some people act like if you like more than one artist, you're committing blasphemy. That is true because I'll even throw in an example. It's like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. They make you have to feel like you have to choose one or the other. And it's like, why not both? Why can't I like both? Why do I have to choose who I like? Or if it's Nicki Minaj, if you're a fan of Nicki Minaj or Megan Thee Stallion, you gotta choose one. No, I don't. I'm not team anybody. If I like your music, I like your music. I'm not choosing one or the other. And I don't feel like people should have to choose. You never have to make them choose between, the male singers and songwriters. So why do we have to always choose when it comes to women? It's just a lot of gender bias that I just don't like. It's like, I've heard it's time to go back to country pop because her songwriter is better suited for it. Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I don't know, once she's kind of expanded beyond that, now she wants to be like this pop star. But I'm like, girl, that's not you. Like, you're not the embodiment of that. Now, yeah, you have crossed over into that. And, there was, I would say, why didn't you take more of a Shania Twain approach to music? Like, that's someone who's actually been able to bridge the gap between country and pop music. Whereas, like, her country songs is rooted in country, but her songs are catchy as hell. And she could work with somebody, like I said, the person that will be able to bring that out of her, Max Martin. Max Martin is a genius when it comes to working with, because he has a background in rock music, but he also, because he's from Sweden, and they're all about having a good ear for music. That's why they work with. So when people always think just because Max Martin became popular and famous off of doing the bubblegum stuff with Britney and the Backstreet Boys and stuff, that's all he knows. But it's like, no, his history, he was in a rock band before he became Max Martin, the super producer. So he has an ear for jumping into so many different genres. And I do feel like that is what you'd be better suited for. But I just feel like with this Dead Poet Society album, I know that's not the name. I just call it that because it reminds me of the movie. She's having a bit of an identity crisis. And I think that's what people are saying. I think that's the word that people are kind of getting at, is like, who are you in this point in your career? Yeah, we know you're famous for writing songs about your exes, but sonically, lyrically, like creatively, where are you with this record? And who are you as an artist? But I do feel like, yeah, she should go to country pop. But I feel like because she crossed over, she did Reputation in 1989 and all this stuff, that people like when she did more of the poppy stuff. Shake It Off. and all of that. So I think that's probably what it is that when it comes to people where they feel like she needs to go back to, the country stuff. Because then they at one point, then I hear something or another, they took her off the categories of like country music stuff because quiet as it's kept, she hasn't done country music in years. Her music's been more pop than country. She hasn't really been in that space. Several people I've told to compare Taylor's album to Lana. Yeah, that's why I said that. A lot of times, and I like Lana Del Rey. Like Lana Del Rey is a vibe. Like to me, it's like if I'm in the mood, like I'm feeling like I want to chill. Her music is like something like you just light a spliff, put some Lana Del Rey on, you be chilled out, get in the bathtub, and you just be vibing out. That's what Lana Del Rey's music gives me. But yeah, they were saying like, especially when it comes to like her vocal style, like she's singing in this lower register. You're trying to sing similar to how Lana sings. And then some fan, I can't get wrapped up in that whole culture. Like that's no, like a lot of these fan bases with their culture, y'all are no different than Jim Jones. Y'all are no different than Scientology. Y'all are no different than like the Jehovah's Witnesses. Like all them cultist type situations. That's what y'all give me with that. The Burt was the Hill song. All them crazy the people in them situations. Don't forget revealing that her mom wished Kim was unalive, and the Pace magazine had to hide the reviewer anonymous because that's what. It's funny you brought that up because I was talking about that throughout the show. I had to bring that up. Is that there was a reporter for a magazine that reviewed the album. They had to hide the name because people were gonna come after the reporter because they gave a review of the album, and it's like, y'all must be the type of people that were told no, y'all, that were never told no y'all entire life. That it's like you get mad over the fact that someone disliked something that you liked. What do you only surround yourself with people that just like the shit you like? That's boring to me. Which probably explains her fan base. But I said Joe Alwyn. I've never heard anything about him or anything he's done. Well, I knew he was an actor, but yeah, I agree. Like I couldn't name one movie, TV show, any kind of film project, any kind of acting role that Joe Alwyn has been in. I can't name one. Chris said it best, Madonna is a workaholic, and that's why being in a relationship is hard for her. hmm Chris who? Her brother? MDNA was issued on her 30th anniversary. Oh, you mean like 30 years in the business? Which was like, what, 10 years ago? Because she's been doing it since, 40 years, be 1984. That's when her first album came out. I hope Madonna doesn't. Oh, yeah, she's gonna have to. She needs to do an album after. So I feel like it's been too long. We already knew before she was heading back on, before the whole incident happened where she was sick and was in the hospital and in the coma and stuff, that she was working on music. And I feel like she was probably stressing herself out. She was working on music. She was working on the tour. She was working on a whole bunch of stuff, and she was probably overworking herself. And then plus raising kids and probably doing a whole bunch of other side stuff because Madonna's always busy. Um, they wanted her to, she needed to slow down, and that was the wake up call that she needed. So yeah, I hope after this tour that she, which is what, next month is when it comes to an end, that she'll spend the rest of the summer in the studio working on music to possibly release at the end of the year or in 2025. That's what we need for Madonna. And then after that, she can talk about biopics and all that other stuff. Synth pop has made a comeback. It's this generation's new way. And yeah, that's what oh my god, Conan Gray is giving me a lot on his new album. There's a lot of new wave type of vibes and stuff in there. I loved a lot of the experimentation he was doing with his voice. Like it reminded me of um oh my god, Soft Cell. Like it was giving me that vibe. It was like I was trying to think back to old 80s type music because I always loved a little synth pop type stuff. Like I grew up listening to, like, I love Erasure, I love the Pet Shop Boys, I love Soft Cell. Like I like a lot of that vibe where it's very much like flamboyant, flamboyant men, whether they're gay or not. And it's funny how I named 3 gay artists who sang in those groups. A little Depeche Mode, even though David Gahan is not gay, but a lot of that whole vibe. I just love that sound is sort of making a comeback. So MDNA was her last number one in the UK 12 years ago. She came close to Rebel Heart, but Sam Smith and Mother's Day UK holiday pulled a last-minute upsurge 24 hours. Well, Rebel Heart was another one that I think got hurt by the fact of the leaks, and then she changed up a lot of the production at the last minute. And then I think also MDNA is an album that people prefer the demos over the original, like the final cut. And I have to say, I love the Avicii stuff. And I kind of wish that she would have kept that sound. May he rest in peace. Because we lost him too. They play a lot of Avicii at my job too. I was like, he has some pops. I really wish that she would have kept a lot of that stuff. But anyway, Max Martin, of course, child, 2 and Taylor don't have it. And so I was sitting there like, she got two. Look, Taylor is a billionaire with a B, not an M, a B. She could afford the $2.5 million. But then again, if he costs that much, then how is Conan Gray able to afford him? Because he's working with, like, Conan Gray is not somebody who's a big superstar. He's someone who is still on the come up. Like, he's still growing his career. This is his third album. Unless they gonna have his ass heavily in debt. But then again, Conan does write a lot of his own songs. And so does Taylor. But Taylor's got the money. She could afford the $2.5 million. Or maybe they work something out, with his label or whatever. Because I'm like, then how can somebody like a Conan Gray afford to work with a Max Martin if he's charging people that much damn money? And in the U.S., Rebel Heart didn't get number one because of the Empire. Chill, and that Empire damn soundtrack is so dated. Like, I remember I tried so much. Like, I liked Empire the first season and stuff, and it had some good songs on there, but I just always felt like the songs were kind of, it always came across as forced after a while. Like, you're supposed to make the songs work for the show and some, that whole thing, but I just don't feel like they really took the time to really develop those songs. But anyway, so it said Jack charges $600K per track. He's way cheaper than Max Martin. Yeah, but her music ain't given though. With working with him, and the funny thing is like, child, why are beats so damn expensive? It makes you feel like, well, damn, I need to start producing my own shit because music ain't cheap. Madonna came close to when Ray of Light peaked at number 2 due to Titanic. Erotic peaked at number 2. We know why. It said, oh wait, who's from the Philippines? Are you talking about? I'm trying to remember because it seemed like Cleveland's on a delay. I'm like, when we talk about Philippines, who we talking about? We talking about the woman that Brian McKnight is in. You must have scrolled back and was watching a lot of the old clips. I mean, the earlier stuff. Because I'm sitting there like, who was we talking about? That's Filipino. Only one I mentioned that could have been, it's either two people that I would say that we were thinking about is from the Philippines. It's like we either talking about Olivia Rodrigo, who I did mention briefly, and she is part Filipino, or are we talking about Brian McKnight, the new wife he's with? So I'm wondering that if that's who you mentioned. But anyway, it said the TikTok video said it best. Stan culture ruined reviews. They either have to praise or post it anonymous. When it's 6 out of 10, and he states the paced review while critical, it also child. I'm over these people out here where it's like now because, and I blame social media because back in the day when you had to read magazines, it was either when you read a critic's review, it was either, okay, so that determined whether or not you bought or supported the record based off of the multiple reviews that we would read. And this is when you had to actually go and read magazines. These days, everything is so instant, and now we have social media. People could just come up on here and just say whatever. I said her as a person because of Stan culture turned people off that Pace magazine is a result of because it's not 3 out of 10, but that result is what happens when an artist is on a pedestal. And y'all need to stop putting these damn celebrities on a high pedestal because it's not like she got a terrible review. And a lot of people didn't say the album was terrible. The people were saying like they expected a whole lot more. And I feel like when you are on the level of a Taylor Swift or a Beyonce and or Madonna, when you put yourselves up there on that pedestal, there are high expectations that comes from an artist of that caliber when they're releasing music. And I think people have to understand it. It's like, yeah, when you always set this bar up here, people always expect that bar to always be at the top, the cream of the crop. Like you cannot, ain't no half stepping when it comes to being an icon and a legend or someone who's been in the business for long. There's so much pressure on these big celebrities when it comes to releasing music. So that's the thing. So I love it, but my guy, I believe, is getting me some merch for my 40th birthday. Well, awesome, awesome. Madonna in Mexico gets the love she deserves of being brought to tears. Taylor is the only one, so why attack her? I don't know. I got all 4 CDs because each CD had a bonus track. But why don't you get the one where it has all the 30 something odd tracks? It said Max worked with Ace of Base in 1995. That's not bubblegum pop. Beautiful Life is straight up techno. Conan Gray doesn't own his masters. The label pays him up front. Really? Which means if they pay him up front, then he's got to pay all that money back when he goes on touring and stuff. And that's fucked up that he don't own his masters. Because if you're out here and you're writing all these songs, um, the thing you want to do is own your masters. But now the label owns you. All right, so let's move on and let's get to these topics because we have about 4 topics left, I believe. Or is it? No, it's about 3 more topics and we're out of here. I know that Taylor Swift one, that was a lot because it was. I knew that one was going to be the one that I was going to get a lot of comments on. But anyway, so actor Ncuti, I think that's how you say his name. I like saying Ncuti Gatwa. The first Black Doctor Who didn't mince words in his recent interview with a gay publication. Now, the actor who has faced backlash for his role as the hit show's first Black lead, well, they'll be all right because apparently they're always pissed off about some shit. Because I just heard a story about there's a Black actress that's on the Game of Thrones spinoff. What's the name of that one? Oh my God, the name damn near escaped me. It's supposed to be getting a season 2 on HBO. But anyway, so there's a Black actress on there, and she was like, "Well, wait until they mad over a Black actress being on Game of Thrones." I'm like, "What are y'all racists? Go back in y'all crib." So anyway, she went and said, "Well, wait till they find out I'm gay too." That was her clapback. It's like, you mad about me being Black? When do you find out that I eat pussy? You'll be all right. But anyway, so that probably be the same thing with Nkuti. Is that not only is he Black, but he's also a member of our community. He's a how you doing? But anyway, so he recently opened up in an interview with Attitude Magazine about what he's learned over the years regarding what he deserves in life. Saying we're trained to be like, if I'm not exceptional, I won't be loved. Certainly, I think that was my thing. This is what he shared. So yeah, I think I'm just learning now, like, oh, you are allowed to be loved. You don't have to be excellent or aspire to the term Black excellence. What the hell? He continued, there's so much white mediocrity that gets celebrated, and Black people, we have to be absolutely flawless to get half of that anyway. So I'm slowly training myself out of that to be like, no shit, you deserve love just for existing. And that has taught me to be a lot more loving as well in a weird way. Now, elsewhere in the interview, the Barbie actor said he doesn't understand how someone can be so angry over something so inconsequential regarding his casting as the Doctor. However, he noted that it's part of I'm sorry, seeing with diversity in the entertainment industry. He says we do see a shift happening in casting, in positions of power, and in the status quo. I mean, not a fast shift. Things could tip over the other way a little bit quicker, but you see people kind of malfunctioning because things are changing. Can I tell you, I love the fact that he said people are malfunctioning. That is the perfect way to acknowledge the fact that people are losing their shit. Like, anytime that you see someone in a role, be it a woman, someone who's Black, gay, a Latino, whatever the case is, in a lead part or in a part that you're used to seeing white people being the white savior, white people get mad on social media and they start trolling and all that other stuff. And it's just like, yeah, this seems like you're malfunction because you've been told all your life that white is right and that, you know what, y'all don't have to work as hard as we do to get a smidgen of the profits that is laid down to y'all. If you're a white man in America, you already know that the white, or I guess anywhere, but I'm gonna talk about America because that's the country I'm from and I'm in and I know, and that the red carpet will be forever rolled out for y'all. You don't have to work hard for shit. You don't have to do other stuff. We've seen the epitome of white privilege. You see that old smelly motherfucker that's currently in New York City court, the orange turd, who the word is he stink, that he's sleeping and passing gas in in the damn courthouse or the courtroom, and the judge had to tell him to make sure he wash his ass before he show up in here. Who wants a stinky damn man running for president? If you think his ass stink, I wonder how that breath be smelling. It's probably just as bad. I don't know how Melania let that man breathe on her, but on top of her. But anyway, um, back to this. So this is something that we, as people of color, have been saying our entire lives, that we've always had to work 10 times as hard to get a smidgen of what white people just be getting. Because there be some people out here that I be like, including myself, where I just be like, you know what? The amount of time, effort, and work and research that I put into putting my shows together, and yeah, I have a small base of people that come in and they watch the show and they support and they hit that like, subscribe, and that notification button, please and thank you. Um, so we have, those. I have my small team of people, my little cult following, I guess I'll call it, of people that really support and like the show and all that other stuff. And then you see people out here that I'm like, how the hell do you get 20K views or all these likes and all these subscriptions? And people are coming in because there be some podcasts I'm like, how the hell you get a show? And you get all these endorsement deals because you're not that good of an interviewer. You're not as good as what I've been doing in regards to the show. And this is no hate, this is no shade. I'm just saying, it just be sometimes I'll be wondering that. And I'll be looking at, because a lot of times it's somebody who's younger, who's white, who's attractive. So they get things handed to them. Whereas you be seeing some people that really be going in with their edits, with the overall visual, how they make things look. And then it's like, huh? How are you popular? So I totally get where Ncuti is coming from. I'm definitely excited because I haven't watched, honestly, I have not watched Doctor Who since the David Tennant seasons. And I would jump in every now and again, but it's kind of been, I just really haven't been feeling Doctor Who in that way. And it's been hard to kind of watch it because it's been bouncing all over the place. But now, since Disney Plus has dibs on Doctor Who, I can actually watch it. So if you are a Whovian and you are a fan of the Doctor Who series and all the stuff, you could definitely check it out on May 10th when it debuts on um, Disney Plus. And shout out to him because I remember him from Sex Education, which I actually loved, and that show's not even on anymore. He also talked about, how mean the British press can be, and that he says, I just focus on the job and stay true to who the doctor is. And that's another thing too, is like, y'all be thinking American press, oh no, the Brits are worse. They're just disgusting with the shit they be writing. That's probably why Victoria and David came to America, because they probably felt like, you know what? People really don't care. Like, America doesn't really care about British pop culture that much, and I have to say that we don't, which is why it always baffles me how our media will put so much emphasis on the royal family. They want to cover so much royal family stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if y'all know, because y'all probably don't be paying attention to what people actually be thinking out here. But most people can give two shits about the royal family. There's probably a small group of people that care about that whole fairy tale bullshit and everything that goes on in the UK. But a lot of the UK press and stuff, American audiences don't care about the royal family. We really don't. But the media, when it comes to the people who run the things, they're gonna try to shove all that down our throat. So there's that. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Okay, so let's move on to our next topic, because there's a sequel to a popular drag queen film in the works, and it looks like a sequel to classic queer comedy The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, has been greenlit, and queer cinema, child, is excited. So the extravagant gay road comedies director Stephen Elliott confirmed that the 1994 film is to receive a sequel, complete with key members of the original cast. Now, starring Hugo Weaving, Guy Pearce, and Terrence Stamp, The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert sees two drag queens and a trans woman travel across rural Australia to a cabaret show, meeting several interesting characters along the way. It received critical acclaim upon release and has become one of the biggest queer movies of its time, grossing over $29 million at the box office. News that a sequel has been discussed was first revealed on Friday, the 19th of April, after Elliott confirmed the deadline that the film was real and would feature one hell of a journey. The original cast is on board. I've got a script that everybody likes. We're still working out deals. It's happening. Now, speaking to The Guardian, Elliott, who is set to return as director, confirmed that the script is complete and that the project is currently at the negotiation stage. Now, people have been screaming for me to do this for 30 years, Elliott says, and suddenly I had the realization that we're getting old. We're losing people. He explained that the decision to bring the chaotic queer film back was in part due to the upcoming 2024 U.S. election and the possibility of Republican candidate Donald Trump securing a new term, saying it's all about to erupt again. Somebody said to me, is this the right time to make the film? I said, it's the perfect time to make the film. Elliott went on to say that, much like the original film, which he said was a dagger in the heart, he hopes that will become an important, iconic part of queer cinema. This is not a dire story. It's pretty extravagant. He says, I'm going to give RuPaul a run for her money. Let me tell you that. And run for her money you should, because like I've said numerous times, RuPaul should not be the only representation of drag on TV, movies, whatever the case is. I feel like there should be other opportunities for other drag type shows and programs and ideas to slither on through. I've got a couple of drag ideas, I got a couple of ideas of like gay competition shows. Now, if y'all know any producers out there, give me a holler or email me at chrisavalonofficial481@gmail.com. So yeah, shameless plug. I don't care. Sometimes you gotta shoot your shot, right? So I'm all here for Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. I love the original film. I also love Tu Wong Fu, and I've been saying for the longest, like even though I would love a sequel to Tu Wong Fu, but we don't have Patrick Swayze with us anymore. I feel like what they should do is I would love to see a Tu Wong Fu um version on Broadway. Like I would love to see them turn Tu Wong Fu into a musical. It has every ability to do that, but make it fun. And you can even hire some drag race girls to be a part of it. Those that can sing. Like I would love to see Jinx Monsoon be a part of that. Like right now she's in Little Shop of Horrors or whatever, but I would love to see her do that. Now, back to Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. I also hope that they decide to do that too. Like either on the West End or on Broadway. Turn Priscilla, Queen of the Desert into a musical or whatever. Like, drag queens are something that is harmless to the community and to people involved. There's nothing crazy about, we do have a problematic drag queens, don't get me wrong, from the ones that we've seen on Drag Race and things of that nature. However, drag is harmless. It's something that a lot of kids love. So a lot of people enjoy it. I love drag queens. I have a lot of really good, I have a lot of drag queen friends. I love the art of drag. I love watching drag shows. I love the amount of work and effort that a lot of drag queens put into their productions and their shows. And, even from the local queens onto the mainstream Ru queens. And so I definitely think that in this time of what's going on in this country and so much bigotry and hatred, especially towards the queer community, especially towards drag queens, that this is the opportunity for creators to rise up and to create amazing content, be it a TV show, a competition series, or a sequel to Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. So I'm definitely here for this. I love the original movie. I'm glad that we still have some of the characters that's alive to do it. And I'm curious to think of like, what would this new film be about, especially because these are queens of a certain age and how they fit into this era of drag and how drag has changed so much since the original Priscilla Queen of the Desert came out. So shout out to this film. I'm excited to when it comes out, and yeah, that's all I got to say on that. Now let's get to our final topic, which is RuPaul's Drag Race, because we've got a winner. And the RuPaul's Drag Race season 16 finale, for those who watched, featured Nymphia Wynn playing Jane and Safira Cristal, vying for the title of America's Next Drag Superstar, and the grand prize of $200,000. And the grand finale of RuPaul's Drag Race was filmed in the same soundstage as the lip sync Lollapalooza SmackDown reunited episode. But the format of the past two finales was maintained, challenging the top three to perform solo numbers based on the original songs, furthering the Queen's brands and aesthetics. And I told y'all the tea about that what was going to happen with that whole thing with Drag Race. The fact that I told you they filmed it last year around the same time as the series. So the finale was a year old, And I told y'all who was going to be in the top two. I told y'all from the beginning. I know people was mad that I was spoiling, but I was like, Saphira and Nymphia were going to be the top two. That Plain Jane was going to be, come in third place. She was going to get eliminated, and then it was going to be those two queens. So I wasn't surprised by that. And I have to say, when they showed the reaction of the queens of which one won, because they showed and I actually prefer that they do it that way. And they had Plain Jane in full-on witch regalia. I said, so she's finally come as her true self. She came looking like the witch from, Angelica Houston in the movie The Witches. That's how she looked to me. Like really ghoulish. I didn't even know she could pull that kind of makeup off, or that was her type of aesthetic. But Plain Jane is definitely showing that she's pretty out there when it comes to her creativity and stuff. So they have their little their solo numbers. I did like Nymphia Wynn's solo number, but I'm sorry, but Saphira definitely turned it out during her solo number. Like she took me to church for her performance, especially when she had them kitten heels and that slew foot was just a sleuthing or slewing. And I am so mad I did not come up with that name for Michelle that Michelle Visage came up with, where she was like Slewfira. When she said that, I laughed so hard because that was such a stupid ass name, Slewfira. But I was like, that was hilarious. And I know a lot of people were mad that Nymphia won and that Saphira lost, because we all thought Saphira was going to win. So I've had people literally tell me that they felt like they were trying to do that because we haven't had an Asian queen win since season 3. Yeah, season 3, because Raja was the first Asian, woman to win, Asian queen to win. And I hate the fact that I was looking on social media where people were sitting there talking about, oh, we had Nymphia being the first Asian queen. I said, no, Raja is the first Asian queen. So I posted a little thing that I created online, and I was like, when people say that Nymphia is the first Asian queen to win Drag Race, and I put Raja at ... fuck my drag, because that's a line that is used in regards to well, fuck my drag. What are you trying to say? I ain't shit or whatever? Fuck my drag. That's basically a phrase that we were like, well, damn, is my talent not good enough or whatever the case is? So that's basically a drag race term that has been used. So it's yeah, we're not going to discount Raja because, yeah, she's not full on obvious Asian, where you look at a Nymphia, you can see she's Asian. There's different aspects of the Asian community, just like there's different aspects of the Latino community. There's different aspects of the Black community. We're not all a monolith. So, and someone also tried to say Nymphia is Asian American. I was like, no, she's not. She was born in Taiwan, therefore she is not Asian American. Asian American means you were born in America and you happen to be Asian. She just moved to America, particularly New York, a couple of years ago. I think it was maybe 2-3 years ago. So here's the thing that I gotta say on that. So did we break down everything with the whole thing? So out of all the performances and stuff, I thought Saphira's solo performance was my favorite. But I did cackle that when after Plain's performance, the look that a mandatory meeting gave, child, that is gonna be a forever meme. Her overall look that I was here for, but Nymphia definitely turned. I loved her overall look. I love the whole aesthetic of the background dancers. A lot of people saying that they feel like the reason why that they kept it in the studio and stuff is because of what happened with Anitra and that whole situation where one of the dancers got injured during rehearsals and stuff. Honestly, I actually like the idea of them doing this in front of a live studio, very Masked Singer-esque. And I'm sitting there wondering, I said, did they do that because, whenever they did the previous finales, where they had a couple of, where they would invite the past queens and all that other stuff into the show, I was like, was this because they were worried about spoilers getting out? And the fact that, people just reveal everything that's been going on. So it's you can get a bunch of people that show up, but they got to sign NDAs or whatever. You can't leak nothing, even though I already knew the tea of who was going to be, who was going to be top 2. But Plain did seem upset, but you know what? There's always all stars, and the same thing I feel about with Saphira. There's always all stars because I feel like Nymphia definitely did eat she ate with that final lip sync. I have to give it to her, when she opened up the thing and they did Padam Padam by Kylie Minogue and she opened up her cape and then the balloons and stuff came out. It was very, a lot of people saying similar to Sasha Velour. And I'm like, I'm glad that you kind of said that because here's the thing. Nymphia has performed at Sasha Velour's iconic nightgowns show. So she's done it. Sasha Colby's done it. A lot of amazing queens from Drag Race that a lot of you may not know have performed at nightgowns, which is all about like real artistry and when it comes to performance and stuff. So Nymphia is one of those girls who definitely puts on a show. If you have not seen her live, I implore you to. You could even look up her nightgowns performances and stuff on YouTube. So I think also people just gag because we never really saw Nymphia lip sync. But I knew what Nymphia was going to give because, like I said, I've seen her perform. But she did the balloon reveal and all this other. Yeah, it was cute. And I saw that she showed online that she was doing like a rehearsal on how the whole thing was going to happen with the cape. Sapphira was more dramatic and theatrical. She was serving phase. I love that she had the vampire teeth, and she revealed she came out of her dress and did the body. So she was giving old school performance. But I know a lot of people said that it just reminded them of the Shea Coulee Sasha Velour incident. That Shea Coulee was conditioned to win. Sasha Velour, we really wasn't getting that from her in regards to like, is she worthy of winning the crown until she did that performance, and then it was like, well, damn. So that's where that came from. But overall, I say all that to say that regardless of how people feel about Nymphia and what was it Nymphia and oh my god, and Sapphira and their whole win in their situation, the fact that Sapphira came in second and Nymphia came in at first. I just want to applaud the fact that we have two women of color, two queens of color, I should say, that made it all the way to the end, that it was between the both of them, and that we had a woman of color that won. So I'm glad that, it's just diversity is important. And I know what some people are saying, this goes to show with Nymphia winning that it leaves open an opportunity for many people to feel like, I too have the opportunity and the chance to win. That maybe one day you'll get a big girl that wins Drag Race. We have yet to have that. A Latina queen. I don't think we've ever had a Latina queen that has won Drag Race. As far as I can think of, I don't think we have. So, those opportunities, and who knows, that may happen with All Stars coming up. And we talked about All Stars, but the polls and everything was saying that they believed, what was it, a TV Line poll, they said was split almost completely evenly between the final trio, Nymphia Wynn, Plain Jane, and Sapphira Crystal, with Sapphira edging out her tied competitors by only a single percent. Even the Queen's track records are remarkably similar. Plain and Sapphira each have 4 wins under their belts, while Nymphia has 3. So there was that. So, they had their. So there was a poll with that. And I talked about the other day where it was a poll that they did online, I guess, once they released the poll and they had Nymphia winning and they had Sapphira come in third. I'm like, huh? What kind of shit is that? So people really like Nymphia. And I have to say, like, even though in my opinion, I didn't feel like Nymphia was giving enough to be like, does she, with all the things that's been going on, should she be winning this season? I don't see it. Apparently the people have spoken, and I guess at the end of the day, based off the challenges and stuff, she did what she needed. She did what needed to be done. So congratulations to them. I'm looking forward to seeing Sapphira do a season of All Stars. I'll definitely try to find out, some tea in regards of whether or not Sapphira will be interested in doing All Stars, but I'm sure that she definitely will, and it'll end up like a redemption season, like similar to Jimbo, who should have won the 2 times she was on her previous shows, but didn't win, especially Canada, and then she did Versus the World, where she got eliminated by Pangina, and people was mad over that and went after Pangina. So we'll see, like if she, she'll get her redemption, similar to her and Shea Coulee when she had to go and do her thing. So congratulations, and we'll see what the future holds in regards to season 17, because they're already done with the whole the casting and everything for season 17. I don't know if they've chosen the girls yet, but they're going to be filming that this summer. So anyway, I just want to check in and see like any more questions, comments, or concerns before we log off, because this is our final topic. And it's funny, even though there wasn't a lot going on social media, it's funny how I'm always able to find stuff to talk about. So anyway, yeah, I guess we're done. So thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please do yourselves a solid by hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification button, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Thank you for all of you who have been tuning in, especially in the live chat, and those who will be tuning in later for the playback. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Love you all, and if there's some tea that comes out tomorrow, we'll talk about it. If not, I may be back on Wednesday, but it all depends on what's going on, because today we kind of was, even though I did find a couple of topics and stuff to talk about, it wasn't really a lot going on. So anyway, yeah, so love you all, and until next time, ciao, darlings.